Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mercy Kill. This is episode 45, Earthbound, with Classic James and Andy Perfect on comms. I'm Skybills, your host, and first, before we dive into the run, a few announcements from Games Done Quick. SGDQ on-site volunteer applications are open from now until April 20th, so that's today. Oh my goodness. If you are interested in volunteering at the tech station, camera ops, photography, donation station, and more, go to gamesdonequick.com for more information. Again, as a reminder, today is the last day for that. If you're watching on YouTube, hello. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Go to twitch.tv/gamesdonequick if you're interested in looking at our live content starting weeknights at 7 p.m. Eastern and weekends at 1 p.m. Eastern. As always, your subs, gift subs, Prime Gaming subs, and bits help support our weekly hotfix content. Please consider supporting our daily content if you enjoy these hotfix shows. Games Done Quick Highlights is a channel that features highlights of our GDQ hotfix shows. Use the ! highlights command to learn more about our highlights. And with that being said, Classic James, Andy Perfect, how are you all doing?
Doing great. Thanks, Sky, for having us. We're looking forward to this. Should be a good time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about your history? And Andy, you can do the same thing too. Associated with this game and also with speedrunning the game before we get started here.
Sure. I've been speedrunning this game since 2016. The category I'm running today is actually the first category I started with. It's always had a soft spot in my heart. I really like this category a lot. And I was definitely inspired by the great Andy Perfect here. He had the record before I took the record from him. So I have looked up to him for a long time, and I just really love this game. I love all the categories. It's a really fun speed run all around.
And I am Andy Perfect. I've been doing speedrunning stuff for close to a decade now, since 2013-ish. Starting with Earthbound, but I've made my way across tons of different RPGs and platformers over the years. But just like Classic James, I can't stay away from Earthbound. It keeps drawing me back.
So I want y'all to keep one question in mind as we're going through this one, both of you again, because you're very much intertwined with the community. Would you consider running this game again, especially in the case of James, who's running today? And if so, would it be this category 40%, or would it be something else? And you don't have to answer that right now. It's just something to think about as you're revisiting this category.
Yeah, I definitely have some thoughts about that for sure.
Well, I don't
think Classic James can stay away from everything. Classic James is a jack of all trades.
Ooh.
He's got his hands in every single category in Earthbound.
Wow. All right, well, I want to hear more about the categories, but before that being said, are you all ready to go? Or I should say, James, are you ready to go?
Absolutely. I think I'm ready to get going.
All right, on your count.
All right. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck and have fun. And one last question for James here as we are just getting started here. Do you have any safety strats?
Oh, there will be a whole bunch of safety strats here. Thankfully, in this category, we're allowed to save and reset. That sets up a lot of our manipulations. So I'm fully expecting to fail quite a few of them, but I'll have multiple shots to do it. And then there's a few spots where there's maybe 5 to 10% chance that you just die if you get bad luck. So I'll be doing some safety saves for those as well. And yeah, hopefully it doesn't fall apart too badly here. It's been a while.
Yeah, I think there's naturally going to have to be a lot of safeties, just because in the history of Earthbound, going back, so if you go back to like 2014, 2015, it's when a thing called manipulation started becoming a thing. Manipulation, so whenever you reset the game of Earthbound, the there's internal values that determine randomness, in air quotes. It's a totally predictable chain of values that progresses along. I mean, there's no internal clock or anything, so the old Super Nintendo had to do what it could to generate randomness. And once runners started getting an understanding how the randomness worked in the game, they really took that to their advantage. And all photo or any run that allows resets is going to have lots of manipulation occurring in it. And because I think James isn't totally up to snuff with like his potential in this category, I think there's going to be a lot of safeties just because it is a lot of work to remember manipulation at any given time.
Yeah, I have some notes written down. As far as just what's stuck in my brain from all the years of Earthbound, this part right here is about the only thing that's left because you do it for every single category.
Yeah, this is if you ever, I feel like if any runner has ever done any bit of Earthbound and has ever played with manipulation, like the first 6 to 7 minutes are gonna be the same pretty much in any category you run. So it's like that's the part, and it's relatively simple, and that's the part that always it never leaves your soul. It's just it's there forever.
Yeah, definitely still possible I could screw it up though, but it's not the end of the world if I do. I'll just go to non-manip strats.
Find a snake or two.
Yeah. But so far so good. There is a little bit of a problem that could occur if I drop manip here in terms of what Ness's HP is. I want it to be at an odd amount. Otherwise, I'm going to lose some time down the line because I don't have a good backup. So I'm hoping
what is that odd amount for?
It's just you want 1 HP when you die on the stairs, and that skips getting an extra text box there. So it saves quite a bit of time. Yeah, I'm just trying to focus a bit here at this part. But this category, any percent all photos, was created, I want to say 2015. Andy might know better than me.
Wasn't Aurelius who originally I think Aurelius was the one who first created a route for this.
Yes, he did. Because my memory is when I started. Hold on, I want to make sure I don't overmash here. When I started running on the leaderboards, I think there was only 3 or 4 categories, and this was in the miscellaneous categories, and only you and Aurelius had times on it. And I liked it because it was sort of a combination of like halfway between any percent and glitchless. And
yeah, and I would say like all photos, like a lot of people had tried to determine, like if you go back to the old like Speed Demos archive forums, there's like discussions and debates going back, I don't know, 15 years about what would constitute a 100% run of this game. And there were lots of debates about, oh, you could visit every single room in the game, or you could collect every single present, or get every single rare item drop. But I think the community as a whole kind of settled. I mean, people will still do runs of like those all rare item drops and things like that. But the community kind of settled on getting every single photo in the game is really the only thing the game tracks.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's really the only thing in game that could constitute 100% is just getting every single photo. As you're looking right now, Classic James is going up the hill back up to the meteorite. You're seeing him put in inputs here and there, enemies spawning in certain places behind trees and stuff. These are all expected to avoid all the spawns. And then, are you going to death warp past Starman Jr.?
No, I'm not doing that for this because it can create an issue because Ness doesn't have life up. The current world record holder for Mother 2, the Japanese version, he's gone through and really optimized everything, and he does do a death warp now, but you have to plan it better to be able to do it. So I'm gonna still be fighting Starman here.
If you're curious what the death warp is, it's you actually die, or you as soon as you get Buzz, the spawns on the overworld are turned off, so you're not supposed to get into a fight. But if there's if you drag an enemy close to you, it'll never despawn. So you go drag a dog, so it's like poking his head out on the bottom left of the map right now, and you fight a dog or whatever and get him to kill you, and then you'll death warp back to your house, and you can skip the Starman Jr. fight entirely.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught it. I think I might have dropped manip already. I got stuck on a tree, and the crow came out at me, so I'm still gonna do the inputs here.
Yeah, I don't think the crow movement affects anything. I think all the enemy movements are deterministic to an extent. I don't think they query the random number generator, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but since I got stuck on the tree, I can't remember if the entertainers off screen are still moving at that point. So we'll see here in the fight. like I said, this fight is scripted, so it's pretty much impossible to die to it unless you do some additional grinding so you can put up your own shield, which negates the shield that Buzz is putting up. But in terms of this fight, there's no way to lose it, really.
Yeah, I think it's funny. A lot of people don't realize that you totally can die to this fight. I imagine the death just puts you back at Mom's house again, right?
Yeah.
I actually don't know. But yeah, if you grind the several hundred fights that it takes to get to like level 14 or so when you learn shield, you cast shield and override the psychic shield that Buzz puts up, and Starman Jr. will kill you.
But good news, we didn't drop the manip, so Andy was right there, and that's good. Because like I said, every single time I did a reset, it would have cost me maybe like 5-10 seconds, so it would have added up for sure. And I guess I should talk about the photos in general. If you've played this game, it might seem like the photos are kind of random. Like they do a good job at dispersing them throughout the whole journey. And but there's specific spots where you're going to find all the photos. There's a total of 32. One of them is automatic, so really there's 31 that we have to go out of our way to collect. And I'd say about half of them are just you go to a certain spot on the map. But what makes this category interesting is that other ones do require either, certain fights. One of them you have to read a sign. So there's the fun I always had in this category was figuring out the what I thought was the fastest route, and it's really changed a lot over time.
And this is like the all photos run. If you're familiar with like computer science theories and stuff, this is very similar to like the traveling salesman problem. Where because in Earthbound, all maps are connected, and you can, as soon as you get to like the third town in the game, you can clip out of bounds and walk to anywhere in the map immediately. So at that point, it's a traveling salesman problem because you can go start getting any photo in any order that you want. You just have to hit the triggers that allow them to be taken. So a lot of this category is routing and deciding what photos am I going to get in what order, and how am I going to traverse the map to get to all of them.
Yeah, and this is the first photo here. I like to get this one just because otherwise it takes quite a while before I grab any other ones. So just so people know what we're talking about when we talk about these photos.
Yeah, there's 32 photos in the game, so feel free to count along with us.
Yes, and chime in the chat if you know I forgot one, because I might not realize it in time.
I probably won't realize it either.
Yeah,
I haven't watched all the photos run and feel like it's been a couple years since, or at least a year or so since anyone really pushed an all photos or pushed the all photos category down a little bit.
Yeah, it was nice. There was some activity for a while when Cerium was trying to do a sweep of all the categories. So we were going back and forth for a bit there. Oh, I'm actually going to come over here and grab this just for a little extra money for some extra skip sandwiches. That'll be the first safety thing I'm doing.
So what is the purpose of, whenever you clip out of bounds, you can reload the area. So sometimes when you're walking out of bounds, the area you're walking through will be black or whatever, and you can't see it. But if you use the sound stone or use the map, you come back from that screen, the area will be reloaded. What areas do you actually need the map for? Because you have the sound stone for essentially the whole game.
Yeah, so it's when after you beat Ness's Nightmare, you don't have the sound stone anymore. So it helps when you're coming back for the meteorite. But also it's just faster. Anytime you use it over the sound stone, it's maybe 2 seconds faster or something. So just
you say you beat Ness's Nightmare after Gygus?
No. So after Ness's Nightmare, the sound stone goes away.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So at that point, if you're going out of bounds, your only option is the town map. And what I'm doing right here, this was discovered in 2018, and this really kind of blew the lid off the glitched categories. They discovered that you can do a sprite overload here, and if you get enough of these sprites on screen, it actually moves that barricade up there, so we can skip all of Onet. So this was wonderful when this was discovered. I want to say Pirohiko discovered it, right, Andy?
Yeah, Pirohiko is a well-known tasser. and he just out of nowhere came through and he was like, "Oh, by the way, I found these 2 glitches." And we looked at them and we're like, "Oh, I think this will shave about 20 minutes off of any percent."
Yeah, it's crazy.
And when any percent is only like an hour, 6 minutes, that's cutting off a third of the run. That's huge.
Yeah, it was huge. So I don't actually even know if I need this exit mouse. I'm thinking I'm kind of going to be routing on the fly here for some of it. So I think I might need it, and that's why I picked it up since I'm here. But thankfully that went well. That was the only part I practiced because if I got stuck there, it would be pretty boring to watch me just reset over and over and over again. So I'm thankful.
So what spot are you thinking you might use the exit mouse? And is it just like you don't remember completely, or what is it?
Well, you get exit mouse in the mole cave. But I'm gonna do a thing that Octopus Cal actually does in Mother 2 now. And I'm gonna set up the cave, and then I'm actually gonna go pick up the diamond band, which I haven't done in a long time, because if you're manipulating everything, you don't really need extra money. But I'm gonna pick it up just so I can buy some extra multi-bottle rockets in case things go bad. And I can pick up the diamond band and then exit mouse out, and it'll put me back in the desert. So that's what I'm thinking right now. I already kind of forgot what the setup I used to do here. Oh, well, too late. But yeah, these are the cliff skips here.
My favorite is that like by going down here, you do one less cliff skip.
Yeah,
and I didn't ever realize. We were doing the 2 cliff skips for years before someone started going over there to the southwest.
Yeah, because from a task perspective, it is faster to. Sorry, I'm doing these cliff skips here. It is faster to do the 2 cliff skip method, or I guess 3 total. But RTA, it's a lot better to just take one of them out of it, because we still don't fully understand. Oh, I just realized I wanted to do a safety save.
In case there's zombies outside the tunnel.
Yeah, there's an 8% spawn tile there, and if they were on top of me, I would have had to go back and do all that all over again.
By all of that, just going back to the barrier skip, it's only like 4 minutes.
It wouldn't have been the end of the world, but you know what? I'm just going to do a safety save now, because if I die in the graveyard, I don't want to have to do all this all over again. So no shame in safety saving.
That reminds me of an Octopus Gal's GDQ run where he did I think he there was no safety save that he made either, and he went through the 3 graveyard and actually fought a ghost.
Yeah, that was really the only mistake he made. That run was incredible, but I think the RNG gods were smiling on him, because it's such a small chance you run away from that fight without dying.
I think you don't even have a chance to run until like the 3rd or 4th turn based on how the run odds work.
So the fight has to be already going kindly to you.
Are you gonna grab this photo outside the graveyard right now?
I could. I might as well, since you brought it up. I think I usually
I don't know if you have like notes about like what order you get them in or anything.
I used to get it when I come back later, because you can get the happy 3'd photo. But I'll just grab it now. Why not? Make sure I don't forget.
I don't want to throw you off your groove. I have no idea what order you're getting these in. It's been so long since I've seen this route.
I believe it's slightly faster to get it when I come back, because I can get it out of bounds when I'm going down to the tent, and I can't grab that photo until after I beat Belch. But it's really not much time to grab it now, and just in case, always better to grab photos and not forget about them down the line. So, but so far this is all so far, right? Yeah, 2 so far. I'll go ahead and do my little checklist. Oh, I thought she was an enemy for some reason. Been a long time. But yeah, you have to go up into the graveyard to trigger this this delightful woman here who lures you into a scary room. But here's where we get the best character in the game right now.
Thank you. Thank you for speaking truth.
There's heated debate in the community over whether Jeff is the definitive best character or complete garbage. But
so the Jeff is like, for people who actually, or for, as soon as you like understand the mechanics and the calculations under the hood, Jeff's character is the person who can by far do the most damage more than anyone else. So he has all the bottle rockets that he can fire, and each bottle rocket can do up to 150 damage. And a multi-bottle rocket that you can buy later in the game is essentially 20 bottle rockets bundled into one item, and they all fire at once. So a single multi-bottle rocket can do up to 3,000 damage. And people like to hate on Jeff because if you get bad RNG or whatever, the bottle rockets will miss quite often. But
yeah, but it's
if it weren't
because
for Jeff, if it weren't for Jeff in the first place, then the speedrun would be very different.
For sure. And when you're playing this casually, you probably have no idea, but his bottle rocket damage is determined by Jeff's speed versus the enemy speed. So we can pick up, in a glitchless run, it applies more than this, but I will be picking up an item for speed later. But we can increase Jeff's speed as much as possible, so the bottle rockets have a very high chance of hitting when we fight certain enemies. So yeah, it really speeds up the boss fights a lot, even in this category. But this is just sort of an unskippable part of the game where we're just sent on an errand here, and it seems like a dirty trick played by Maxwell here, because he knows this key isn't gonna work, but he gives us to us anyway.
I've always wondered what was like the reasoning behind the developers. Like, so the Maxwell character gives you a key, and you have to go use it on a locker to find out that it doesn't work, and then you come back and he gives you the correct key. Like, it feels like such an odd sequence to throw into the game.
Yeah, I mean it's because we use it to unlock other things down the line, so they're just trying to get it in our head, I guess, that we couldn't use a regular key, but we could use this bad key machine.
I noticed in your PB you got back attacked by a goat.
Yes, that's what we want to do, actually.
Oh, really?
So I actually didn't need to pick up that Holmes hat, but oh well. So because it's a little different than any percent, I try to do extra cliff skips here. So I'm trying to do a total of 4 cliff skips with 3 skip sandwiches. And the only way you can afford 3 skip sandwiches is to fix the broken spray can. And since we need to come down here and get this photo anyway, that's really just kind of the best way.
Oh, so it's almost like a death warp back to the top.
Yes, yeah.
Gosh.
I don't know if you remember, Andy, but like when the cliff skips in Winters were first found, I think you were the one who came up with the idea of the death warp, because it's like 100% spawn if you try to walk back up. So it actually is a lot easier.
Yeah, that sounds like me.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
but we eventually found out that there was a setup for the cliff skips, so we can reliably get through any skip with 1 skip sandwich now. But
Thanks
for
to
photo percent, it's still...
shout out to Daniel RGT who came up with the cliff wiggles.
Yeah, and Hannibal actually came up with, I think, the one that's the setup that we use now that guarantees you get through on 1 sandwich. So
wait, there's a way to guarantee you get through on 1?
Yes, yeah. It's like a sub-pixel manipulation kind of. I don't really understand it, but it works for me, so I don't question it too much. So there's photo number 3 there. So yeah, like Andy said, I'm going to be looking for ideally a goat now. That's the best thing we want to fight, and there we go. And that'll put us back at the top. One huge thing, I can't make a mistake here. I can't get the bubble monkey, because that will really throw off my run quite a bit, having bubble monkey for the rest of the run. So
I would enjoy it.
I can't go into muscle memory there, because in all the glitchless categories and stuff, we're always going to pick up bubble monkey because it gets us through the caves. So yes, I'm going to be buying some skip sandwiches here and also doing a safety save.
This is actually pretty fun to watch. Like, the last time I actually like ran all photos was probably 5 years ago, and the route still involved going to South Scaraba and manipulating the Kraken kill.
Yeah, you fought the Kraken specifically for money, which was cool at the time, but it turned out it was actually not needed. So
I'm sad that it's not needed, because it was an awesome strat.
Yeah, it's really cool when you find interesting ways to manipulate boss kills. Like in any percent, we kill Ness's Nightmare with making him confused. So I'm looking for a crow here so I can just walk by him. And yeah, so I did a safety save there. We're gonna see how this goes. So I'm looking for Jeff to move, and then that's the setup here. But he has to, it's like a 2-part setup.
You have to like walk north and then get stuck on something.
So, yeah.
Yeah, this is
No,
we were
that's
talking
not
about
it.
Pirohiko a while ago. This is one of the glitches that Pirohiko found.
Yeah, this skips-
Alongside that barrier skip that we were talking about earlier. This is another cliff skip, but it works differently than the one that James did in Tucson. This one involves like some arithmetic rounding errors. So as you walk up and down against the cliff like this, you're actually like slowly moving left and up into the cliff, and eventually
Yeah,
it just
so
kind
I
of pops you
actually-
through.
I screwed up the setup here, so I can get through this with the 3 sandwiches. Oh wait, I got through. Never mind. Forget what I was about to say. I was completely expecting that I had failed there, so we barely got through. So that's the only one actually that's left that's like that. It's man, I forget what the technological reason for that one is. But it's the only cliff skip like that. The other ones down here, we found different setups for them, so we don't need to wiggle the D-pad like that anymore. So I'm gonna try to get in here. If I fail this one, I'm actually gonna abort this idea and come back and get this photo later.
Oh, you come over to Brick Road? Oh, to get the photo in Brick Road?
Yeah, so I can actually leave here and that despawns the enemies. So then I can just come back here and walk right over to the photo, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is going around and going back up, is all this still faster than just taking Tessie down like normal?
Yeah. Tessie takes a really long time. But I mean, you could manipulate everything, but it's still slower. And this kind of adds a fun element of extra cliff skips here, although it sucks if they end up ruining the run.
Photo number 4, by the way. The fun
Yes.
fact about these photos is the game actually tracks the state of your characters in your party whenever you take the photo. So if you end up coming back here and you took this photo later in the game with like Ness or in your full party, like when you were coming down through the Stonehenge base, the photo at the end of the game when it showed you the whole photo reel during the credits would actually be the 4 characters instead of Jeff. So
Yeah,
it's kind of a cool little mechanic that it tracks your character's state during photos.
Yeah, so that one is kind of the most annoying there because there's no setup for it.
Ooh, did
So
you
we
do that
really
without
have to
a
hope-
sandwich?
Yeah. That's the only way we can make this work. All right, I was kind of scared there because if I had screwed that up, I would have had to do all this all over again. I'm gonna go ahead and try to get this guy stuck because I have to get this photo over here. So yeah, everything's going pretty well so far. I don't want to jinx it, but I guess when I've done this category as much as I have, certain things stick with you.
These are all 3 photos in Winters, right?
Yes.
So that's
You could
number
come
5.
back. Yes. I do have to
There's
mark them on
definitely periods of like rapid photos back to back. I think though the photo that takes the longest, if I'm not mistaken, is like the number of things you have to do to get access to it is the department store photo, right?
Yeah, because you have to do all of Mole Cave and you have to watch the Runaway 5 show.
If someone could figure out how to, and you have to kill Spook, right?
Yes.
If someone could figure out the mechanics of what that requirements are for that photo and figure out another way around that, that would be like a 10-minute time save just for that
Yeah,
one
that'd
photo.
be huge. All right, so this is a long cutscene, and then we're gonna be setting up Out of Bounds right afterwards. So hopefully I don't.
Are you going to go to Summers and create an out of bounds file there and manipulate
Yes.
2 Summers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is about a 2.5, 3 minute cutscene here, but we can talk a little bit more about the category. But
let's do that.
Like Andy said, I was really like interested in trying to find anything I could when I started running this, and I tested out if you could like maybe like somehow skip Runaway 5, and I was like, maybe if you give yourself a cold and you talk to the manager at the theater and then die right afterwards, maybe you could skip the show. But interestingly enough, like during those parts of the game, even if you have a status ailment, it'll pause the status ailment, so it won't let you die. So as far as I know, there's no way of skipping Mole Cave, Runaway 5 show. I mean, some stuff I'm doing is not necessary anymore, but it's sort of a matter of I'm doing like minimal manipulation on this run. And when you start going down like the most optimal path, like I mentioned Octopus Cal before, he did the any percent run at AGDQ earlier this year and was just amazing. Like he did from this save in the lab all the way to the end of the game and didn't screw up anything in front of, you know, tens of thousands of people. It just blew my mind. But so in his route that he does is pretty much 100% manipulated. So meaning if you screw up anything anywhere, it'll domino effect and it'll screw up everything else. So I didn't really want to do that for the hot fix here.
Wait, why not?
Because yeah, what's interesting is that when we started adding in some more manipulation, this is kind of when me and Sirium were going back and forth. I had sort of stumbled into a mole cave manipulation, but I didn't realize that it was all dependent on the level ups when you get poo in the party. And I got lucky and got the right levels, but I didn't realize how precise that was. So it's actually pretty annoying to add in that mole cave manipulation because it doesn't save that much time. Oh, you know what? I wasn't watching the guy. I was supposed to watch the guy down in the bottom to see if I need to do a backup here.
He just went down once.
Oh, he went down. Thank you. You just saved me having to watch this whole thing again, because that's actually the backup.
I had the actual Games Done Quick stream pulled up, and I was on the side. It was delayed enough that I'd noticed that he just on your last loop around. It wasn't the first pass.
Yeah.
It was the second pass.
Yeah, because he's supposed to go right, but if he goes down, it's the backup. Man, Andy the MVP here, saving the run.
Watch me, I totally saw it wrong or something, and I screwed this up. Please be right.
Andy was right.
Oh, thank goodness.
So I'm going to take this really slow because it's been a long time since I did this. But we want Jeff and Paula to die here, and we want Ness to get a cold.
Yeah, what Classic James is doing right here is getting into a fight to get Ness. The biggest thing is to get Ness with a cold. And when you're getting on the stairs, in any kind of stairs in the game, there's like a little animation before it technically like puts you walking on the stairs like normal. So like there's like a slight little break where you're just kind of like hopping onto them. And during that animation of you getting on the stairs, it's like everything collision detection, everything is kind of in a different state than normal. And if you get interrupted while you're in that short period of time with a text box from like a phone call or whatever, like a cold status effect, like you're about to die from a cold or poison, you basically interrupt that animation, and then you can then walk out of bounds.
I just realized I didn't have the game audio in my ear, and I need audio cues for out of bounds. So I grabbed my headphones real quick.
Yeah, but the nice thing about about this category is you can still get most of the photos. I think all the photos while you're out of bounds. Out of bounds meaning that collision detection is off.
Some of them you can't. I mean, you could set them up and then come back and get them out of bounds, but like the one in Brick Road, for example, you can't interact with that sign out of bounds, so that's why you have to kind of do it when you're inbounds. All right, so I think we're at 7 photos here. I'm gonna fill in my thing here. I did life up there. I'm gonna have to wait for a little while for my HP to tick down, but it's better than relying on getting over to the museum fast enough, because if I didn't, I would die. And this is actually a part that's kind of breaking off from the record route. In the record routes, both like the one I did and the one that Octopus Cal is doing currently, we do another stairs glitch here, and we go get the Foreside teleport location. It's pretty nice because Foreside's very central. But I just didn't feel comfortable going for that here because, again, I'd have to go do everything all over again if I died. Be like 5-10 minutes of time loss. I think that's
what Classic James means when he says central is like, if you think of so every single area in this game is actually like connected on like one big image. And when you're on this little screen that Classic James is looking at, if you were to walk south like into the black area, you'd be technically walking into a different area of the game. You just don't see the area loaded.
Yes, exactly.
So what he means when he says Foresight is central on that big like tile of all the locations tiled together, which if you walk out of bounds, you can get anywhere pretty quickly.
Yeah, so what I did there is I made a second save file, which is completely okay for this category. And there's different ways to go out of bounds. You saw the first one when I jumped on the stairs right when a text box popped up. And then the other way is if you actually die on stairs and then you do a soft reset, you just start out of bounds.
I've always wanted to see someone do a so pretty much every category of Earthbound that we have is Sans New Game Plus. So you basically, any files or anything you use during you run has to be created during the run. But if you were able to like, if we ever did like a New Game Plus type thing, you'd be able to essentially get out of bounds as soon as the game starts. I guess runners do that for Pajama Percent, don't they?
Yes. Yeah, we have to have the file set up for Pajama Percent. And we have
just so
some
you
of
always
us
say pajamas.
Yeah, some of us have messed around with New Game Plus. The thing is, it's currently slower, like quite a bit than any percent. So there doesn't seem to be a real reason to do it because it's less manipulation involved in that. I think actually the run I did of it, I didn't do any manipulation at all. But you could do it, but essentially what it would rely on is getting a flying man and then doing like a 20-turn Ness's Nightmare fight because we wouldn't have Paula. So it just, yeah, no one's really all that interested in trying that. But interestingly enough, you don't have to go through the normal procedure to get here to Dalam to be able to trigger the meditation here. You just have to be in Dalam and then talk to the master. So... Pooh,
which is awesome. It's something I would never consider. I would just like think, oh, you have to be Pooh.
Yeah.
But look, you are Pooh.
Yep. Ness just transforms for a minute there. So, yeah, so we try to get Pooh as early as possible because he's the only one that's going to have teleport. Ness will eventually get it, but in a normal glitchless run, what you have to do for Ness to get teleport is just not worth it. It's much easier to just come and get Pooh.
So do you actually, I'm trying to think where you would use teleport instead of just
well, just to get around, like when you have to save, you have to go save somewhere, so you'll teleport to Tucson or whatever, or come back and get an exit mouse. So in theory, you could do it without it. You'd just have to figure out where you could go from where it was putting you in certain situations, but it just...
My favorite part of this is he's taking away all your HP and everything, and it's supposed to be ticking down like Pooh's HP and stuff, but Pooh's not on the party, so nothing happens.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
I would half expect it to be like ticking down like party member 1, but it's actually pointing it at Pooh instead of party member 1, which is interesting.
Yeah, what's kind of cool is that because we go to get out of Onet so early now, Ness has lower HP, so we can do a death warp here back to the palace, so it saves a little bit of time.
It is crazy how efficient this is, just like planning all these death warps with all the cold.
Yeah.
This is like I was mentioning earlier, it's the traveling salesman problem where like, It's just all this whole category is literally just getting from place to place as fast as possible in the right order. Inevitably, like it's one of those things that's like we have no idea. There's almost certainly a route from photo to photo that's faster than this, but finding it is very difficult.
Exactly. And if you come up with an idea of like, oh, this always happened to me, I'd be like, oh, this would be a cool thing to try. But if you do it, you have to reroute the entire route just to try that one thing to see if it's even faster. So it's definitely fun though. The route has gone through a lot of iterations over time. I think Octopus Gal has the closest thing to a perfect route right now, and no one has, stolen it and used it on the English version yet. So I might have to do that at some point.
Oh, really? Is it significantly faster, or is it?
Yes. Yeah. So his big thing that he figured out is that if you have Ness or everybody but Ness dead for the boss fights, he actually gets enough experience where you can get Flash Beta before you fight Ness's Nightmare. And what that does is it enables you to fight Belch and kill him with a Flash Beta. And that skips having to go all the way to Threed and fight Boogie Tent. So that's quite a big save. And then just all around, he just really cleaned up a lot of stuff. So I really think his is pretty close to perfect. I had a couple of thoughts that might be improvements, but it's really hard to say, like I said, without routing the entire thing out and then timing it.
I love like when you're just on a photo spree, you're jumping from like photo to photo within seconds.
Yep. So now we have Pooh, and I'm going to teleport back to Tucson. I think I'm going to pick up a photo there. So I think I just got 2 more. I'm about to get the 10th photo here. And some people ask sometimes about the bike. I think way back, probably before Andy even ran, the bike was part of a normal glitchless run, because you do move faster when you're on the bike. But the problem is there's so much text to pick it up, and you can only use it if it's only solo Ness. So it's pretty much just for this early part of the run. So it ended up losing quite a bit of time over just not getting it. So
yeah, I think it was, I don't remember, it might have been me actually who decided, I don't know. But I remember, I think when I first started learning this game, like Skate Man, I think he was still picking it up. And then it was like one of those things where it was still in the early days, like, oh, I wonder if anyone's just like timed it to see if bike's actually faster or not.
Yeah, exactly.
I think getting the bike is like 15 seconds slower.
Yeah.
Because you can only use it riding back and forth from the tunnel. And then from that point on, you have more people in your party and you never get to use it again.
So I have a question real quick for James from the chat. Which character in Earthbound has the best fashion style, and why?
I mean, I gotta go with Jeff. He's rocking that suit.
Is it a suit?
I think it's a suit, right? Is it just a blazer? I think he's in a suit and a tie.
No, now I don't even know. I have to look it up.
But
now
honestly,
that Jeff is dead, I'm like, what does Jeff look like?
They all have some pretty good fashion sense, I think. Ness, with his classic baseball cap and backpack. Paula's got, the classic pink dress. Pooh's rocking the, what's the term for his clothing?
Yeah, because I guess in all like the clay pictures of Jeff, like from the old player's guide and stuff, it has him wearing like an untucked dress shirt with a suit and a bow tie.
Yes.
That's even more super stylish to be able to like pull off the untucked shirt.
So this is nice. This is one of the full heals. For Andy's, a master of all the randos, and full heals are really important in rando.
Will you heal me?
But technically, if you're manipulating the whole run, you don't actually need to get the kids alive again. So this is the last thing I'm going to try to manipulate here, and I don't have particularly high hopes for it. I realize that there's a lot of stuff going on with the walk here to Boogie Tent. And
is this manipulating the boogie tent fight?
yes, because since Ness doesn't have Rockin', I can technically get through it, but it's better if I can manipulate it.
Are you gonna try it again if you fail it, or how are you gonna do this?
So I have a. So yeah, he moves down. So we're good on that aspect. I have to actually kind of listen here to audio. So give me a second here. So there should be a dog there. I don't think that's right. Oh, wait. I think... So we might get to see something kind of funny here.
I'm intrigued.
Okay, it did work. It did work. The manipulation's right, but I don't know if you noticed the eye of the tent disappeared. So this is one of the stupid things I found out, that it's gonna look like the game is frozen, but I'm actually just gonna let it sit. I hope it's not longer than I remember. I think it's like, gosh, I hope it's only like a minute. But
is someone wandering from the origin of the map one
no,
to you?
I don't, or maybe I don't know, but it's weird. Like the tent, his eye disappeared, and I noticed that like depending on the angle that you walk down to the tent, or sort of like when you use the map, it can like affect things. So I this may be a mistake if I sit here and wait. Eventually, I know it will work, but this is the joy of Mercy Kill, right? We're gonna just sit here and wait for the screen to unfreeze
so it's
itself.
like, so is when the eye is gone, you know that it's like something's broken.
Yeah, and I didn't initially know that was a thing, and I was, doing runs and stuff, and every once in a while that would just happen, and I thought like I kicked my console or something. Yeah, so I don't remember how long it is, so sit back and relax, guys. This might be a while. But I'm very, very confident that eventually it will go away.
I wonder if like it has to do with where you loaded, like, so because
I think
it's
about
to change the screen and zombies are going to be there. I wonder if like you loaded it when it uses zombies that are already on the map somewhere. Ooh, the eye just changed again.
Yeah. It could be. It's definitely something to do with probably not your angle, but like where you use the map. Because if you use it too late, oh, that wasn't bad. Okay, good. Still in a speed run, that would be enough to reset, because that's like 30 seconds or so.
That's so wonky. It's just I'm so intrigued. Like, what could possibly be happening under the hood during that time?
Yeah, I've been bad about like trying to figure stuff out. Like, I run into something like that, and rather than figuring out why it happens, I'm just like, okay, don't use the map on that pixel. Try again. But it doesn't really, explain anything.
That may be the creepiest thing I've ever seen in Earthbound.
Yeah, kind of cool that I got a chance to show it off since it didn't waste that much time. But that was a very annoying thing. And another reason why Octopus Cal's route is superior, because you don't even need to fight Boogie Tent in his route.
But maybe inferior because you don't fight Boogie Tent.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So this is something that Andy did not do originally, either Andy or Aureliux. It turns out that when you do stuff out of order in this game, you can really, do some fun stuff. And since the game doesn't expect you to come to this part with someone who can teleport, you can trigger a fight that turns spawns off, and then teleport away from it, and then the spawns just stay off. They stay off until you do something that turns them back on.
I'm not quite sure what part you were talking about where you would use that. I'm intrigued though.
Well, it's just nice. You have no spawns for the whole game, so.
Oh, so spawns stay off for the rest of the game?
Until after Ness's Nightmare, yeah.
Oh, until you do like a scripted event that turns them back on.
Yeah, and it's
don't
funny,
take a bus.
Like, don't take a bus. That would be a bad. I wanted to fight Boogie Tent before this because Boogie Tent is one thing that turns it back on. That's okay.
It's interesting that it feels like, because I know like regular encounters will always turn spawns back on, right? Maybe, I don't know.
No, boss fights and stuff don't turn them back on. So here's where I was talking about doing stuff in a little bit of a different order here.
Oh, so there was the whole thing of teleporting away from. So you get the Franklin badge right there. So you specifically so you can turn spawns off. So it spawns off for the rest of the game now until you turn them back on.
They're off until Ness's Nightmare. Yeah. So I think what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go down to Foreside. I think I might have already screwed up here in terms of what I was thinking of doing, but it's okay.
Do you have any notes or anything you're looking at?
I have a map right now, so I don't get too lost going out of bounds.
Of going through that escalator.
Yeah.
When you're out of bounds walking through the map, it's just like you entered the collisions or like your character showing like and when they get hidden is very interesting.
Okay, here's Foreside Department Store. So we want to go up to the top corner of that. I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna grab the museum photo.
Walking from Tuesday Department Store to Foreside Department Store.
Yeah, now normally I don't have to do this. Normally I don't have to come get this teleport location because like I said, I do like another stairs glitch and it saves quite a bit of time.
I wonder if just a soundstone aside, just getting the map is worth it just because it's actually just like maybe a second or two faster than having to open up the menu and pull out the soundstone. I wonder if it's faster just to get the map based on how many times you have to reload the area.
Yeah, it is. That's why I could get it later when I come back for the Shyness book, but it's actually faster to come in and get it earlier since you're already there.
Gosh, there's so many like triggers and events you have to keep in your head about keeping all this stuff together. Just all these things when you're just doing a glitchless run, you're hitting all these triggers in like the intended order, but just out of order. There's so many little things that you just don't think about.
Yeah. So I don't think this is faster, but we're just gonna take a nice little scenic walk here. I'm gonna grab a photo on the way. It's such a long walk. I think it is faster to just out of bounds back here, but I'm here anyway, so let's enjoy the scenery. I think I'm already losing track of the photos. That's not good. I have 13 marked down here. But I know the photos so well, I'm pretty sure I'll remember if I forgot one.
You want me to keep track alongside you?
If you want to, sure. I definitely haven't missed anything in terms of what I was planning on doing. In fact, that's kind of an extra one over what I was thinking. But yeah, so what I mentioned earlier, the exit mouse, I screwed up that whole thing because I was thinking that I would come here. So I'm doing this all out of order. So normally you would walk through the desert, you would come up here and you'd give this guy some food, and then you go into Foreside and you talk to the manager, and then you come back and the mine is open up. So I was thinking I would go into that hole right there and mark it as an exit mouse location. And then I could exit mouse after I get the Hawkeye and the Diamond Band, but I'm just gonna do that later. It's not a big deal. So interestingly enough, if you do this out of order and you just come stay in this hotel, or this, I guess it's not really a hotel, but
if anyone's wondering about how the exit mouse works, so you can kind of abuse how the exit mouse works, especially in this category. Whenever you enter a dungeon, your exit mouse location gets set, and if you, I think if you death warp out or you don't take the intended exit out, and you're in a different dungeon, and you like out of bounds into it, your previous dungeon entrance location is still set on the exit mouse. So you can basically use an exit mouse at strategic locations to like teleport across the map.
Okay, so I'm actually trying to set up a potential glitch here. This is something Ultimo Ice found, and it's a pretty cool glitch. For a long time, people knew about they call it the rock candy glitch. And it's when you use rock candy in a fight and you also have condiments. The rock candy will move in the inventory, so it'll actually think that you still have the rock candy. Anyway, you spend the condiment instead of the thing you're trying to use. So it means that you could keep. Oh, nice gut save from Jeff. But it means that you could hang on to that rock candy and keep using it over and over again. But the same mechanic works if you have a teddy bear. So if Jeff is using a bottle rocket and then the mole kills the teddy bear on the same turn, you'll actually duplicate that bottle rocket. So that's been used quite a bit in like Pajama Percent and also No Out of Bounds. So that's the scariest fight right there, the first one. Like I said, I'm not manipulating this. So everyone has really low HP on that first fight.
But the odds are that mole kills the teddy bear instead, right? And
yeah, it should be a 75% chance, but of course he targeted one of the kids. But I'm not going to complain since we got unlucky and then we got lucky because Jeff did what's called the gut save there, where he takes mortal damage, but it doesn't actually kill him. It just brings him down to 1 HP. But yeah, having no spawns in this cave is just an absolute delight. We do also have a life noodles and a secret herb. So if somebody does die, it's not the end of the world, but we're still going to hope that we can get through this without any deaths.
Where did you get the cup of life noodles?
From Dalam.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, normally I wouldn't pick that up, but again, safety for so things don't fall apart too quickly.
I like how you too quickly. You're expecting them to fall apart eventually.
Yeah. No, I'm happy that the worst thing so far was that little glitch on the tent because it really could have gone a lot worse than that. Yeah, that fight is surprisingly hard to do without Ness having Rockin' and Jeff being at level 1.
So speaking of the cup of life noodles and the skip sandwiches, if you could have a food be real from Earthbound into real life, whether it's one we've seen or one we haven't seen, what would you be interested in trying?
Honestly, the peanut cheese bar has always sounded good to me. But there's so much stuff with it.
There was I was reading, there was like an Earthbound forum or something I was reading when someone was talking about like, what is it, the molioki soup or something? That you can buy in Scaraba.
Yes.
And someone was saying that it's like an actual soup, like an actual thing that you can buy, and it's actually pretty tasty, and I was intrigued.
Yeah, they have a lot of interesting stuff, both in like Summers and Scaraba. Don't they have like a Kraken soup as well?
Oh, yeah, it's the Molokia soup. It's actually an actual dish from Egypt.
Nice. I mean, all the stuff in the game sounds pretty good to me. You got your classic hamburger and pizza. Oh, I already have an exit mouse. Never mind.
My favorite are the runs that people do where they will like every single food item that Ness consumes, the person playing the game has to consume the same item.
Oh, geez, yeah. I know that they do a variation of that with Super Mario World, where you have to eat like a donut for every level in Donut Plains and Butter Bridge. You have to consume a whole stick of butter. Something ridiculous.
We don't speak of that in the Mario World community.
All right, sorry, Scott.
You're good.
I remember Rezi told me about that. I was like, that sounds crazy. Earthbound wouldn't be quite as bad, I don't think, because you don't actually need that much food if you're playing it kind of dangerously. So I picked up the Coin of Defense. I don't actually know why. I guess I can sell it. I'm gonna pick this up. I could give the. Oh, never mind. I have a boiled egg. So I'm picking up a bunch of unnecessary things here, but
I love that this is true to the whole idea of Mercy Kill, where it's just like, I don't know why I did such and such.
Yeah. I know what things can give me extra money, so my thought is that I can buy some extra multi-bottle rockets because those are pretty expensive. Those are, I think, $21.49 a piece. So if you don't go out of your way to route in some extra money, you can't afford that many of them. But I was talking about the bottle rocket glitch. It actually did work, so I duped that bottle rocket. So we had it for the first 3 moles, but now we're down to just doing freezes with Paula and Pooh. But the nice thing is normally you're only here with Paula, but 2 freeze betas will always kill these moles. So if you just queue up 1 with Paula and Pooh, you're pretty much good to go. But yeah, you have to do this entire cave to not only get the photo outside, but like Andy said before, it eventually opens up the department store. But yeah, one of the big things that's going to be super rusty here is like inventory management. I'm going to be like picking up things I don't need, probably forgetting stuff I do need. That's the thing.
Inventory management is definitely like what separates like I think it's most critically comes into play in glitchless.
Yeah, for sure.
Glitchless is so optimized, and it's so there's been so many runners that have pushed the time down and made it competitive that at this point it's like sometimes the thing that separates like the super top tier times and the tier below is just inventory management. Just making sure that items, when you pick up an item, it's going to go on the character you want it to, so you don't have to move it around later and search for things.
But that was a really bad rusty mistake there. I mean, it's like a 10-second time loss. But I actually, we always pick up the platinum band in glitchless runs, and I forgot which box was the platinum band. So I picked up a completely useless luck capsule. But
I literally forget every single time I go back and play glitchless. I'm like, oh, I think it's the first one, it's the platinum band, right? Oh, dang it, wrong again. Every single time.
Yeah, that's a mistake. I can't even think about the last time I would have made that mistake. So another nice thing about the spawns being off is the desert is normally a really scary place to walk through. Like, you know, just, I mean, if you know what you're doing, it's not too bad, especially if you have teleport, but just having the spawns off is delightful. You can get sunstroke.
The spawn tiles in this game, like enemies will spawn in certain places. There's usually like little squares. You can imagine the game broken up into a big grid. And there's certain squares of that grid are set as spawn tiles, and they'll be able to spawn certain enemies. And if you look at like a map of the spawn tiles outlined on the desert, it's just a massive checkerboard of spawn tiles everywhere, and every single square is like a 10% chance. Walking anywhere in this desert is dangerous.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so what do I do now? I'm gonna go ahead and go get the Hawkeye. I think Foreside's the best place to go from. I'm going to try to do things that I might get sunstroke on all back to back, and then just cure all the sunstroke.
I love it. Don't you get the Hawkeye while being out of bounds?
Yes, and in fact,
that's something I would never consider doing, like, because you have to have the right tile set loaded, don't you?
No, what's interesting about that is that's one of the things in the game that you don't need to load anything. You can just grab it as long as you're in the right spot.
Really, the area can be black and you can still get it.
And that's why that saved us a ton of time in Pajama Percent, because I figured that out just kind of accidentally. And because you don't have Soundstone, and Soundstone is the only way to load that.
I wonder if how does the game, like, that's crazy that you can grab the item without even like seeing it and the area is not even loaded. That means the game has to have like programmed in just like XY coordinates of items.
Yeah, and it's crazy.
That's all it is.
But it's only a couple things. It's that, the Shyness book. I don't even know if there's a third one. Like, you can't read a sign. You can't talk to an NPC. So, but yeah, I'm actually gonna be loading the area though in this, so it's not as fun as just grabbing it.
I guess it's just things that are like sprites or something, because like signs are just part of the map, right?
Yeah. That makes sense.
I don't know. That's just a theory. Probably wrong.
Hey, your theories are better than mine, I'm sure. So yeah, the Hawkeye is necessary because the photo in Deep Darkness, it only appears
Did you end up just like getting to the right area, like the room you know it's in, and just like pressing L in like certain areas trying to find it?
Yes. I'm lost right now. I don't know where I am. I think I'm close.
Wait, seriously, you're lost?
Yes.
That would be frightening.
There's the music I'm looking for. So there's all these pyramid rooms.
I need you to grab it without using the soundstone.
Oh, I can't. Oh, actually, maybe I could. Let me try this. Just for funsies.
Oh, yes, you're gonna do
Oh,
this.
look, it's there though. Look, that's probably why. Here, we're gonna unload it and try again.
Oh, interesting. The Hawkeye is just that's awesome. Oh, and and you can see like an enemy there.
There we go. So for the sake of fun, we lost a little bit of time, but that's okay.
Beautiful.
But I do need to load the area because now I'm going to come down here and grab the diamond band.
It's interesting that there was an enemy spawned in that area, even when you loaded a different one. I didn't know that's how that happened too. And that's interesting.
Yeah, and these enemies they're scripted enemies. That's why they're still here. Oh wait, I don't have an exit mouse. That is okay. Yeah, I'm gonna death warp here. Which is okay, but I forgot to go.
You'd just be able to teleport out if you did the pyramid all the way. You're pretty close to the end. You could just go to the end. I don't know if that hits any triggers.
No, I'll lose
like
poo.
that.
I'm okay. I'm glad. No, I would lose poo if I did that. So
okay.
I actually want to fight the snake here. I think
For more reliable poison.
Yeah. So things are starting to come apart
probably
here.
Kill you fast enough, maybe.
But I do have the Franklin badge on Ness, I think. So I don't know. How long it'll take. But yeah, this will just put me back where I saved, and then I'll just go to the hospital. Thankfully, I didn't take out a bunch of money yet. I guess we'll just bash him. So when you're trying to do a death warp, it's kind of annoying, because if you defend, it'll half some of the attacks. So you can like either use the ATM card or something that doesn't do anything.
Give everyone a
In
toothbrush.
this case, yeah, exactly.
Does using a toothbrush in battle consume the item?
I don't know. I think it does. Forgive me. See, things that aren't in an actual speedrun, I never know. Because obviously we're not going to use a toothbrush for no reason in a speedrun. But yeah, this is quite a big time loss here. It's all because I just forgot to get... I did things out of order, and then I forgot to go get an exit mouse. So not only am I wasting the time on this fight, but I'm also going to have to waste time reviving everybody.
I expect perfection.
But you know what? I have the brain food lunch.
I think interesting fact. I think the PB video that we're watching on Classic James side is the record for this category still.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Yeah. Nobody's really touched this in a while in terms of Earthbound. Mother 2, on the other hand, like I said, has gotten really optimized. For a second, I was thinking maybe I could use the brain food lunch to get Ness some psychic points, but then I realized that he doesn't have teleport, so that wouldn't do any good anyway. But I only need to revive Pooh.
You just go sell one of your items or something, go to the hospital.
Oh yeah, I do need to sell an item. Actually, I can't go in the department store yet, so I'm gonna have to come withdraw money from the hotel.
And you can't sell at the bakery either, can you?
No. Yeah, I was just gonna walk over there and find out I had no money, so thanks for the heads up, Andy.
My specialty is asking probing, unknowledgeable questions.
Hey, it comes in handy for sure. Yeah, so all in all, this probably wasted like 3 minutes or something. It's not.
Nothing is a waste when we're having fun together, James.
That's true. That's true. It's the whole joy of Mercy Kill, right? Things you would never see in an actual speedrun you see.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it comes with that, that's never happened before element too. I mean, I know that's not our show, but that tends to bleed on over to a lot of stuff. So if you've seen something tonight that you've never seen while running the game, totally par for the course.
Okay, so I'm gonna do. Okay, I don't think I need to revive the other ones because I can go do Southern Scaraba right now. I hope there's no problem in doing that in this order.
What's the normal order you would have done things?
I don't even remember, Andy. I'm sorry. It's been a long time. I think normally I would do this later. Oh, wait, no. No, I have enough money. I can do this now, and I can buy multi-bottle rockets now. So that's actually the big thing is you want to do this at a time where you can combine it with a bottle rocket shopping trip. So I think normally I do it a little bit later. But this should work okay. Thankfully, I didn't lose a bunch of money when I died, because that would have been a big problem. I think this is right. I hope.
I love hearing the
We do have
music
the nice
randomly change out here.
Yeah, we do have the nice audio cues to kind of fill us in where we are. So you have to talk to face when Ari was originally coming back to this category after a while, he was watching my run and taking notes, and then he just wrote down "talk to face" in his notes and expected that everyone would know what he was talking about. But to be fair, most of us Earthbound runners do know what he's talking about when he says "talk to face."
Well, now we all do.
But that's a nice full heal, so took care of that. All right. So I'm getting multi-bottle rockets now. I need to leave some money for super bombs.
What are the multi-bottle rockets for? Just bosses?
So bosses, I want one. For sure, I want one for Starman and one for Ness's Nightmare. But I'm going to see how many I think I can afford to get here.
Do you go out of your way to get the rabbit's foot?
No.
Ooh, so we're gonna deal with a little bit of randomness with the MBR damage.
A little bit, yeah. I'm gonna get the crystal charm. That is 15 speed. Is there anything else I should sell? Here's the question. No, I think we're good. So buy. Yeah, so what the question is, how many do I really need here? One for Nightmare, one for Starman, one
Just
for
buy as many as you
Playground.
can. There's no problems with that.
Yeah, I mean, I do need some money left for
Nah.
super bombs. I think 4's enough. I think 4's fine.
Are super bombs
I'll get
for
one more.
armored pokey?
Yes, because without the rabbit's foot, that fight is you can't really rely on any kind of bottle rocket damage without rabbit's foot for that.
Yeah, it's also just because Jeff is a much lower level
Yeah.
than like in a traditional glitchless run or something. Even in glitchless, you're hoping for like 500 damage to 1,000
Yeah.
at a high level with rabbit's foot.
All right, so I'm gonna go fight Belch right. No, wait, I'm not. What am I gonna do? I'm
the
gonna
order of
cure
all that's going on.
Sunstroke
But why did you actually have to get Dungeon Man?
for the photo in Southern Scaraba. That only
That
appears
doesn't
when you
trigger
get-
until you have Dungeon Man?
No. Yeah. So I'm actually gonna go. Okay, I'm gonna go do. No, I need to go to Scaraba. Sorry. So I should have actually not cured Sunstroke, but that's okay. Do I have any money in the ATM? Not really.
Someone
I
asking in
should've
chat,
known
where can you see what photo percent means? Photo percent is just it's essentially a glitched run of Earthbound, but during the run you have to collect every single photo in the game. So there's different like locations you can go throughout the map where a little guy will drop down from the abyss and take a photo of you and your party. And then during the credits, you actually get to see all those photos that were taken throughout the game as like a little way to remember your little journey.
We're gonna pretend we didn't see me miss the stairs there and just keep going. That's a super frustrating mistake when you're like actually going for a record, because it wastes quite a bit of time, and it's more or less a reset for such a stupid thing. Because there's an interesting thing on these stairs, like it's kind of called a slingshot, and if you hit them in just a very precise way, it'll actually just load up right on the stairs. It's strange. So that is also a time loss if it happens. So you want to make sure that you're getting there just in time.
That's one of the glitches that I'm still kind of unfamiliar with. I think they do that in Pajama %, right? Where you like zip across the map.
Oh, I was supposed to go from the Tucson Hotel. I'm gonna go ahead and do this again. I don't even know where this is. Is this Tucson? Andy might
go down
know
the stairs
from
and find
Ancient
out.
Cave. I did not even know that building existed. It has multiple floors. I was gonna teleport even though I'm here already. So yeah, that's a classic Rusty mistake there. You gotta remember which phone you're saving on because it takes you to very different places, and I went to the department store instead of the hotel. I probably could have just found it on the map, but I figure I know where I'm going if I go from the hotel, so let's just do it that way. But it's interesting, the few times I've tried, like, there's two really popular randos in the community right now, Ancient Cave and PK Scramble. Oops, I'm just sitting here yapping. And there's so many rooms in the game that I like probably saw when I was a kid and I played casually, but I haven't seen in years from doing speedruns. So I always get lost when I'm trying to do those randos. Okay. We just got all of our mistakes out of the way back to back, so we'll be good for the rest of the run, I think. So I think I have enough money here. I'm going to get as many bombs as I can, and then I need $600 for a crystal charm for Jeff, which gives 15 extra speed.
Yeah, and like we talked about earlier, the whole reason you want speed on Jeff in particular is because his bottle rocket damage is determined by Jeff's speed. So if you want to do more damage, you stack all the speed items on Jeff.
Okay, I'm confused.
I love these NPCs that load even though you can't see them, or the area doesn't.
Oh, it's above. It's up. Hee. It's been a while, sorry.
James, didn't we tell you that you were supposed to practice this intensely before this run started?
The one thing I'm glad I practiced was the barricade skip, because I would have taken several tries if I hadn't practiced that, but otherwise we just get a chance to see more of the game, right? It's not a big deal. Okay,
I didn't realize this guy had super bombs by default.
Yeah. It makes it so I can actually go to the department store after Gygus, which is nice because in terms of things that turn spawns back on, getting the diamond on the bridge is one of them.
If you were to go back and die to Spook, like, are you going to do Spook after Gygus?
Yes.
So if you were to die to Spook, will it still trigger like the whole death glitch thing where the screen stays black?
I imagine it would, but I'm not going to test it out. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's an interesting glitch in this game. There's like a certain flag set where spawns are off, and I can't explain it well. Chaz has a great video tying it all together about the mole playing rough that's in the desert, because that mole is specifically there to get rid of that flag setting. But essentially, if that flag is on or off, whichever one, and you lose to a fight that you're not supposed to be able to take, crazy things happen. So yeah, that would be an example of a way we could try that out. Okay. We're gonna talk to this guy, get a crystal charm. I guess I should have gotten one more bomb, but oh well. Oh, I need to... Sorry, I got sirens going by. That's a staple of my stream. For some reason, my apartment, it just echoes through the alleys and it sounds like I've got sirens outside all the time.
I'm like watching this and I'm like, I have no idea where you still need to go.
So the big thing now is I'm gonna go to Tucson now, which was what I was thinking I would do, but I didn't have the crystal charm yet or bombs. But I'm gonna
like watching your PB video, you just grabbed the photo in Forsyth outside or right next to like the department store, and I'm like, I think James already did that like an hour ago, but I don't remember.
Outside, oh, like by Monotoli building?
Yeah.
Yes, I did that one already. Oh, good. I'm glad I have $200. I wasn't actually thinking about money here. Oh, I just realized it probably would make sense to do this later, but I'm here anyway, so. Yeah, so the reason it would be better to do this later is because I could come back after I rescue Paula, and then I could combine all this stuff into one trip to Tucson, but it's not the end of the world.
So what picture unlocks through this trigger sequence?
So there's a photo in Peaceful Rest Valley, and it's a really weird one because it only appears when you use
behind
the pencil eraser.
Oh, really? That's the trigger for it?
Yes. Yeah. So like you could go there out of bounds and you won't be able to get it. But if you erase
that's like one of
the
those
pencil,
that's like one of those triggers where you're like, why is there a trigger at all for this? Like
Yeah,
you can't
it's
even
pretty-
get back there unless you erase the pencil. Why make that a requirement for it to
yeah,
be loaded?
it almost makes it seem like they knew people were going to be doing this category 20 years later. Yeah, but this is I'm sorry about the sloppy on the fly routing here, but the important thing is we just get all the photos and finish the game, and I think we're still in good shape to do that.
Yeah, remember that's part of the show too, is the fact that nobody who does games and runs on this, like nobody is polished, right? Because I always ask folks, like, be sure to come in as rusty as you can. That being said, notes are always permitted because I have no clue how you're keeping track of all these photo locations, and this is such an awesome run to watch.
Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, I mean, normally it's a lot more polished than this, but the big thing it's nice to have is the map. I've been using the same map from starmen.net for the entire time I've been speedrunning, so I'll just pull that up, and if I get lost in the out of bounds, I'll just refer to that and kind of figure out where I am. But this is actually one of the things I first found when I was like brand new to the run, and I was really proud of it. And that's like what Andy was talking about before, kind of taking exit mouses to places you're not supposed to. I don't know if people had really messed around too much with that before, so I actually found that this was a spot you could save quite a bit of time. Because I'm not going to go erase the pencil right now, I'm just going to get the pencil eraser, and you'll see why later. I'll try to do a swag teleport here.
Ooh. Yeah, teleport alpha I think takes like 2 seconds, and teleport beta takes like, it was like 8 seconds or something. It takes
something like that.
But it requires a way smaller space. So if you can pull off a teleport alpha on like your first try, it's always going to be way faster. But sometimes executing it is very difficult.
Yeah, and if you screw it up, you end up wasting more time than you would have saved. So it's one of those, you know, you got to use your judgment situations.
Or just be good. I'm not good.
But it's always fun when you can pull them off. I would say that the master of that is Dr. Swellman, the current glitchless world record holder. He does some that I just didn't even think were humanly possible, like just wiggling the D-pad around, and like when you're coming out of Tenda Village, it's a very small space there, and he's pulled off teleport alphas there, and I've tried it like 10 times in a row and haven't even gotten close. I think I remember where I go here. Because this used to all be manipulated. Yeah, this was another improvement to the route. I end up... to be able to do this with a multi-bottle rocket, it means you have to sacrifice some time down... Oh, wait, no, this is Moonside. That's not right. And I went through the door. Nice. We'll try that again. That's like one of the worst things that can happen when you're lost is you accidentally go through a door and it's just like, well, now I'm stuck in Moonside and nothing I can do about it unless I reset. I remembered going right and then diagonally upright, but I guess I went farther. But what I was trying to say is that if you can manage to beat Starman Deluxe with only regular big bottle rockets, you can go from Tenda Village to Southern Scaraba, and what that does is it saves a whole long section where you get a bunch of text. I think this is it, right? Sounds right.
But when you're going from like navigating out of bounds, like, are you having to look at the map every single time? Like, where am I going to end up? How do I get there? What path was it again?
I probably should be, but I was trying to do it with that. Now, so I know where I am, but I'm trying to decide if it's faster to just go through a door here and walk through, or if I can find... I think I can probably find the place.
Are you trying to end up at
Starman
Kill
Deluxe?
Starman Deluxe?
Yeah. Now I'm referring to the map here. Okay.
And what trigger does Starman Deluxe open up for you?
The Shyness book.
And why do you have to get the Shyness book? Oh, yeah, because that required picture. I was looking at the list of all the pictures, and it's cute on the starman.net. A bunch of the pictures have little text that says, photo unavoidable.
Yeah.
And like in this run, you have to like, oh, what do I have to do to get this photo? The one that says photo unavoidable.
I think it
has the Tenda Village one as marked as unavoidable.
Yeah, that sounds right. Okay, I know where I am now. Okay, I'm glad I didn't give up, because I would have had to walk through all of Stonehenge.
At least there's no enemies. A Stonehenge
Yes.
right now at your current levels would be like a death sentence.
Oh my gosh. I mean, there is, if you know what you're doing, you can execute green swirls on a lot of the enemies in here, but it's not 100%. And yeah, fighting anything right now would just be pure death. Okay, so this fight could still go badly. If he does a Starstorm, we're gonna probably be out of luck. But I'm gonna queue up a Super Bomb with Ness. I think we have enough HP that we can get through it even if he does a Starstorm, but we'll see. I'm gonna hope Jeff comes through and does enough damage, but it's kind of asking a lot.
It's right on the cusp, right? Because even on like the
Glitchless
regular speed
fails
run,
occasionally.
yeah, glitchless run, sometimes you can roll a little low, and here you're like probably 15 levels lower than that.
Oh, Jeff coming through like a champ. He has 1400 HP. I remember one time
is it 1400 exactly? I think it's a little more than 1400.
It's exactly 1400 because I remember. Okay. I knew that from routing this, and one time we were doing a race, and I thought that I hit for 1396, so I just started bashing, but I had actually hit for 1356, so I ended up dying, and dying to Starman in a glitchless run is such a bad death.
Yeah, it's like a 10-minute time loss.
Yeah, it's horrendous. All right, so
especially because you probably didn't save. Yeah, it's probably a bad
yeah,
time.
It's really bad, and I think it puts you back in like where Tessie drops you off. So yeah. Quite a big time loss. But that's good news. We got through that. Now I can use this opportunity to think about where I'm going next. I still need to do... Oh, I know. I'm going to exit mouse out and get a photo. That's what I was talking about earlier.
You did like the Deep Darkness photo? Is that post Gygus?
No, I should do that before Ness's Nightmare because I need the Soundstone for that, so... It doesn't really matter when... Oh, no, I should do that on the way to Tenda Village. Yeah, there we go. There we go, routing on the fly. I should try to think if I can avoid that phone call I was talking about at all. So you can talk to either Andonuts or Applekid here, but Andonuts is faster. But yeah, so this is what I was talking about before. I was really happy when I came up with this. This saves you walking all the way back through the caves and everything. And
yeah, normally that exit mouse, like in Glitchless, would take you to the front of the dungeon, but you never went in the dungeon. It's the last dungeon you were in. The last dungeon you entered into was back here. So I wonder if there's more ways to take advantage of that exit mouse mechanic in this run. Even just like teleporting back to Onet to go down to get another one.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to do that actually I'm gonna fight Plague Rat after Ness's Nightmare, and I'll try to show off that glitch again. But I'm gonna go ahead and go back and get an exit mouse right now, because that's a big problem if I forget that, so I might as well get it now. It is interesting, you have to think out a little bit more if exit mice are worth it when you're coming from Tucson, because I can't go from Onet because of the barricade. So it takes a little extra time to walk from Tucson.
I'm disappointed you didn't do a teleport alpha right there.
I'm sorry. Again, maybe Doc could pull it off, but that's not one I'm comfortable with.
I only give you a hard time because every time I'm telling you to do a teleport alpha, there's zero chance I could have executed it right there.
I used to do one coming out of Pink Cloud. That was always a fun alpha to go for. But that's about the swaggiest I'll go. Okay, so is there anything else I want to... Oh, okay. Actually, there's a big thing, and I need to do that now or else I'll forget. One of the triggers for any run of this, like any percent or anything, you have to drop down the hole into the Lost Underworld. And if you don't do that, you're going to be in trouble later on. Because you can go and you can fight Ness's Nightmare without doing this, but then I think it's what puts Andonuts in Saturn Valley is dropping down the hole for some reason.
I think it puts a phase distorter there too, like the broken or the unpowered version. But yeah.
Yeah, it's like Ness's Nightmare dropping down into Lost Underworld and then going through the phase distorter to Cave of the Past are like the three things that you have to do.
Yeah. That's essentially what like the any percent run is just doing those three things as fast as possible and beating Gygas.
Yes. Because technically,
if there's ever a way to get out of bounds without going to Threed, the Threed tunnel is the first stairs you get access to in the game. So that's where like any glitched run is essentially get to Threed as fast as you can and then out of bounds everywhere else. So if there were ever a way to find out or to out of bounds other than Threed, that would be probably I would say the next biggest find that Earthbound could have.
Yeah, the
getting
thing
out
that
of bounds without needing a second file or stairs.
Am I already there? Oh, I am. I was asking the Tassers, who know way more than I do, obviously, if there was any way we could use the same sprite overload from Onet, if we could use that in the graveyard, because that would skip all of Winters. And that would be huge for any percent.
Oh, just to go so you could get into that tunnel?
Yeah.
So we're about an hour and a half in. Is there a good spot for us to take a break soon?
Yeah, this is fine right here, actually. I'll just grab this C pendant and then we can go ahead and take that break.
All right, awesome.
So you said I should count down, right?
Yeah, just so we know to stop the timer.
Okay. I'm gonna equip that on Paula. All right, 3, 2, 1, pause.
All right, awesome. So real quick before we go to the break, a couple things here. First of all, please be sure to follow our wonderful runner and commentator. So our runner is Classic James at twitch.tv/Classic James, and our commentator, twitch.tv/AndyPerfect. So thank you both for being on. This has been awesome so far. Before we go to our break, our wellness break, do remember that your subs, gift subs, Prime Gaming subs, and bits help support our weekly hotfix content. Please consider supporting our daily content if you enjoy these hotfix shows. And with that, folks, stretch, hydrate, and we'll be right back with Mercy Kill. Welcome back to Mercy Kill. I am joined here by Classic James and Andy Perfect, and this is Earthbound Photo Percent. Let's dive right back into the run. Are you ready, James?
I am ready. I'll count it down here.
All right.
3, 2, 1, go. All right, so I was thinking a little bit on the break about what I can do here, and I'm actually gonna try to do something I saw Octopus Cal do, and
Ooh, new strats.
yeah, it's something I've never done in the route, but I think in terms of like what I've done and what I still need to do, it's probably the fastest way to do it. So I'm just grabbing this here. I know you can get it out of bounds, but I'd probably spend so much time trying to figure out what to combine it with that it wouldn't save any time. But this is, like I said, this is the same as the Hawkeye. You can grab it without even loading the room. So I guess that means
Which is interesting because I would figure that, because that one is unlike the Hawkeye that has a sprite. That one is just like part of the map.
Yeah, well, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I'm curious to know why it works.
So what photos do you have left? I'm like looking through the list, not being sure. I should have been keeping track. Oh, you have to buy the house. I forgot about that one.
Well, I actually don't buy the house. I get that one out of bounds, and I think that's what I'm gonna go and do right now.
I don't know if that counts.
That's what we do in the run. I could probably have enough money to do it later, but normally I combine it with coming back later for the meteorite. But I'm gonna try to do it now.
For anyone wondering, there's like a house in the first town in the town in the game, Onet. There's a guy standing in front, and he'll offer to sell it to you for $7,500. And like $7,500 is an absurd amount at the beginning of the game. So it's something you're like, oh, I'll come back later when I have enough money. And you come back and it's just an empty room, and you can like check the drawer and read some like magazines. There's literally no point to it. It's like the ultimate letdown. And one of the walls is even missing. There's no fourth wall.
But honestly, $7,500 for a 3-wall house on the ocean, I think anyone would take that.
Yeah,
these
maybe the
days.
property alone is worth it.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm gonna grab this now. Normally I wouldn't do this. What's funny is you saw me walk out of the picture. For some reason, if you load the room and like you're very close to the photo spot, you won't be able to trigger it. You have to like leave quickly and then come back. It's pretty strange. So yeah, I decided I'm gonna combine that hopefully with, let me not go through a door here. That's not right.
I just love all these like random NPCs you see walking through. You don't really see that in any percent.
No. I'm trying to find some place to get to Carpenter. That'll work. So what's funny is when I initially routed this, 6 years ago, in the routing process, I had turned spawns back on, but I didn't realize it. And then I fought Carpenter and I saw that spawns were back on. So I figured that meant fighting Carpenter turned spawns back on. So for the next couple years, I told everybody that fighting Carpenter turns spawns back on, but in reality, it doesn't. So once I figured
What is the trigger?
I have no idea what I had done, but I know a few of them are, I think it was probably getting the diamond on the bridge. And so I guess my thinking was that because you teleport away from the cultists, that once you beat Carpenter, maybe those cultists go away or something. But in reality, spawns are still off right now.
Spreading false information.
Yep. I think that actually...
A little competitive advantage, the classic James way.
Yeah, I mean, I never... As soon as I found out, I told everybody, but it was kind of an accident that I figured it out. Also, same thing, now that I think about it, I was spreading a lot of misinformation because I thought that the Hawkeye turned it back on as well using the Hawkeye, and that doesn't either. So I must have been just doing a bunch of back-to-back stuff and just my novice sensibilities about the game. I had no idea why things were happening. So this photo, definitely don't want to forget it, because sometimes you might...
You teleport without getting it.
Yeah, exactly. And I could come back and get it. It'd just be quite a time loss for no real reason.
Like the double Paula.
Yeah, you get 2 Paulas for the price of 1 here. What's funny is that teddy bear she just picked up, we don't have it. We already used it. Because no matter how you get Paula, there's multiple ways, but she'll always join your party with the teddy bear in her inventory.
It's interesting that the game is actually programmed to have Paula walk to the person or the last party member rather than the first party member. It's like one of those little things that, like, it's interesting that they programmed it that way. Because when you get Paula, she just walks into Ness and joins the party. But there she walked into Pooh. So the game has a program to walk into the last party member, something that's just like, there's no reason why you couldn't have hard-coded that.
Exactly.
Or maybe that's just like an action in the game to join the party.
Maybe. Again, I don't know any of this stuff. All right, so there's a photo here. This photo you get when you give the backstage pass to the Runaway 5.
Oh, that's the trigger?
Yeah. Or wait, not the backstage pass. No, you just talk to them, and they give you the backstage pass. Sorry. Why would I give the backstage pass to the guy that gives it to me? I knew something was involved there. All right, so I think we're done in Tucson in terms of photos.
You got the photo in front of the bike shop, right?
Yes, I did.
I'm like scanning through all the photos, making sure, just doing my part.
Thank you, Andy. I appreciate it.
Without context, you were saying something about walking into Pooh, and all of us in chat were like, yeah, I don't want to walk into Pooh either.
Nice.
You have to wonder why the logo is Pooh's name in Japanese. Is it something Pooh-ish? Like, and they just translate it to P-O-O to keep the same sounds. I'm not sure.
I don't know either.
I don't know the Japanese characters well enough to know.
Yeah, I have no idea. That would make
sense.
You
haven't got a Peaceful Rest, right? The one in front of the waterfall?
No, I do that after, because I can just walk out after Ness's Nightmare and spawns or after Gygus and spawns will be off. Oh yeah, that's something to mention too, is that timing in this doesn't actually stop when we beat Gygus. It stops when we talk to Mom at the end, and that gives us the chance to do some photos actually after Gygus.
I've wondered if like timing, I mean, at this point it's hard to like change a category that's so like been around for so long, but sometimes I wonder if like maybe timing should have stopped like at either the Gygus kill or when the last photo was gotten. I don't know.
Yeah, I like doing it that way because it leaves a lot of options open for routing. If you ended it at Gygus, it would kind of take some of the possibilities out of it.
I like the random square of section that's lit before you get there, or before you use the Hawkeye.
Oh wait, I just realized I screwed up. Well, I didn't screw up, but my thought isn't gonna work because I'd have to come back. I was thinking I could go out of bounds from 10 to Village and get the meteorite, which I could, but I would have had to come back here after Ness's Nightmare, and I wouldn't have the Soundstone. So my thought was completely wrong. So I ended up costing myself some time, I think. All right, give him the Shyness book. And that's what triggers this photo here. He also gives us a free Dragonite, so I might as well grab it, I guess. In case things go really bad in Magic Ant. So yeah, in terms of the photos I still have to get, I'm gonna fight Belch and get the one in Saturn Valley. I'll do that before Ness's Nightmare. I'm gonna get the Happy Threed photo after Ness's Nightmare, I think. Oh, what should we do for the player name? I wasn't even thinking. Should we do the classic?
You can do the best name there is.
So this just shows how mature we are in the Earthbound community, but
No. I always go for all big circles.
oh yeah. So I think it was another thing that Aurelius came up with. But he was just one day like, oh, I wonder how many times I could write butts in the player name part. And it turns out that you can't quite do it. And so it's just butts, but. And there's been several world records that have actually had that player name in them. But
I think there was at one point someone missed a world record because they used that player's name and spent all the time typing it in.
I think it might have been Phalix. He was only a second and a half behind Ulti, and I don't know if he had used that player's name, but he had done a player's name, whereas Ulti just did A. But at a certain point, it got so optimized that we had to kind of put an end to it. I know that Daniel wasn't happy about that. Okay, so where to now? I think I can go fight Belch, but I'm gonna think for a second here, because once I do, I'm sort of on a path to losing the Sound Stone, so I need to make sure there's nothing else I'm forgetting. Let me just do a quick gander at the starmen.net photo guide here. Okay.
And I think it's just like the Saturn Valley pictures, like the waterfall in Saturn Valley.
Yeah, I think everyone other than that waterfall one, I think I can get with the town map if I have to, and then the waterfall one I can just walk out. So cool.
So does that mean you're gonna go do Nessa's Nightmare now?
So I'm gonna fight Belch, which I can then save in Saturn Valley, which is the closest phone from what I remember to get into Magic Ant.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these glitch runs, half the routing is just deciding which phone is closest on the big map that will get me to where I want to go.
There's really so many possibilities, like, and short
and sometimes
of like timing every single walk and every single like door transition, like it's really hard to know for sure.
And sometimes like strategies, you might like just like, oh, this would be a totally good idea, and you think like, oh, there's no phone nearby on the map. I don't know how I would exit mouse over here. I guess walking for a minute and a half, it's not worth it.
Yeah, exactly. So you do, the only reason I have to fight Boogie Tent for this route is because you need the Fly Honey to beat Belch. I mentioned earlier, you can beat him with Flash Beta.
Yeah, and that manipulation looks like it'd be pretty simple since you're right there.
Yeah, but that's the problem, is if you don't have that nice, easy way to get here. Do I still have a
I think Flash Beta is what, like a 1 in 16 chance to insta-kill?
No, I don't know, but yeah, it's no, I think it's more than that. I can't remember, but yeah, if you're manipulating, it really doesn't matter. But the big thing is that if you don't have the Sound Stone, again, you can't get here quickly out of bounds, and that's the reason we can't come back and try to do it after Nessa's Nightmare when you have the levels. So yeah, I took a while in that fight because I was trying to think. I used to beat him with a bottle rocket, I think, but I didn't have any left over. Get rid of that. And yeah, so now we're heading to Magic Ant. And the nice thing about that is the spawns are still off. And that was the biggest reason when I started like playing around with turning spawns off. I'm like, wait, if you do it in the right order, you can actually leave spawns off all the way until you beat Nessa's Nightmare. So pretty cool.
It's not too late to get the coffee.
For those who don't know, I think that's about a 5-minute cutscene if you go and grab a cup of coffee there, but it's very relaxing.
There's a couple coffee sequences where you drink a cup of coffee and like you get a little weird background and some text like talking to you about your journey thus far.
It's really nice casually. And in fact, I guess it was over a year ago at this point, but for the heck of it, I tried to do this all items run that Zimmy Cakes had done years ago. So it's, you know, picking up a lot of these 1 in 128 drops, which can take hours. And when I was doing that run, I used the coffee breaks to just kind of relax after a, 3-hour sort of King's grind or something. Kind of calmed me down.
Yeah, there's tons of rare item drops in the game. Some are like standard items that you can get anywhere, and for some reason they're a super rare item drop from some enemies. And some they're the only way you can get certain weapons or defensive items. Some runners have taken it upon themselves to do runs where they try and get every single rare item drop, where it can take upwards of 20 to 30 hours.
Yeah, the Japanese runners have been racing that the past few weekends, and it's
yes, I saw that. Like, yeah, they had a stream up with like the 3 runners doing it, and it's just like 30 hours in.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
I think Octopus Gal said he tried for the broken antenna for 10 hours and gave up. I'm like, man, you have way more patience than I would ever have. I think probably 4 hours is about my max for any given item, and that's after, however long it took him to get to that point. The bat is definitely not needed, but it's a good safety in case I fight a Kraken. In a glitchless run, we're all pretty good at dodging the Krakens because you're here with only Ness. But with 4 people in the party, you have to be either really patient or, get some pretty good luck with where the Krakens are.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Do you normally have to fight the Krakens, or do you manipulate your way through here in...
I normally manipulate this. So,
okay.
And because spawns are off, RNG 3 is actually off as well. I don't... It's probably kind of silly to start talking about that right now. But there's 3 RNG values, and one of them is sort of... There's a big grid on the map, and anytime you cross into a new square, it'll advance the RNG. And but when you turn spawns off, that whole value is off, so it actually makes routing manipulation a lot easier. So your path up to this point doesn't really matter, except for the spots where there's NPCs.
This is also one of the interesting areas in any percent run, because you would think you can just... James has just been out of bouncing his way. It's a nice verb to turn into out of bouncing. Out of bouncing his way to like different areas of the map. Normally you would just be able to out of bounds your way to Ness's Nightmare to fight him, but you cannot interact with Ness's Nightmare when you're out of bounds. You can't interact with the pillar either. So the only way the fastest way to get to him via an out of bounds route is to hit the Flying Man house and then just walk the rest of the way normally.
Yeah,
which is a real pain, because manipulating Magicant is awful. There's so many spawn tiles.
Yeah, it's tough. And also, interestingly enough, there's like a weird thing with where you crossed the stairs initially. It will actually make it so if you go down a pixel, I don't like this Kraken's position here. If you walk down a pixel too far, it'll actually zap you to like it'll put you back in Summers. I think we're done here. Oh, maybe not. Can we get away? Can we get it? Nah, that's why I got the extra multi-bottle rockets. I'm glad I did it now. Hey, we're just getting a lot of extra experience here. But yeah, like I said, I mean, it's pretty, I mean, it's not the easiest thing, but it's fairly easy if you have experience to not fight any Krakens here if you're here with only Ness. But with all 4 people in the party, it makes it a lot tougher.
As a reminder, there is a little bit of a content warning on the PB video right now. There's a lot of flashing going on because it is at the end of the game. When we have that here, hopefully by the end of this run, we'll also give you another warning for any big flashing lights there. But I just wanted to give a brief content warning for the tiny screen.
Yes, thank you very much for mentioning that, Sky. It's
they toned it down a little bit for like the Switch and Wii U ports, didn't they?
Yes, they did. It's very noticeably different there. I'm glad I got through that fight because I wasn't really thinking about the fact that I only have the crystal charm there, so it's pretty likely Jeff doesn't one-shot him. And then I got the really bad pattern for Nightmare where he does a life up, so if I had like queued up a bomb there, it wouldn't have been enough. So I'm glad I picked up that Dragonite just in case. But yeah,
Ness's Nightmare kind of has a predictable pattern. I mean, sometimes what move he can do can be he'll always pick from one of two. But if he goes into a Rock and Alpha ever, his next move will always be a life up beta, right?
Yes.
I think that's
no. It's if he does a Rock and Alpha, it's a 50% life up beta. Right. And then if he does the life up beta, it's 100% life up or Rock and Omega, which will wipe out the whole party. So that's the path he was on right there, but thankfully I had the Dragonite to do enough damage. But yeah, they definitely toned this down a lot because it does flash very fast here. So yeah, if you, just definite epilepsy warning. So I'm glad Sky mentioned that. I always forget to mention it because I figure people know.
Also, GG on Past James on the PV. It looks like it's over according to the videos. So again, GG.
Really?
Oh yeah. Or at least it's close to.
Yeah, right now you're going through the Gygus death sequence.
Oh, okay. So it's not completely over yet.
But on James' PB, he's probably like 5 minutes away from being done.
Oh my gosh. Gotcha. Is that how long the ending sequence is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a while. We don't include the whole credits, but it takes a while to get where we can get back. But I'm going to go watch a fun show after Gygus. So that's what takes a lot of the time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to say, I remember the end of this game being like the end of the third Lord of the Rings movie where you're waiting for a 10. You're waiting for a 10. You're waiting for a 10. It's just not happening.
Well, it's really cool how much you can actually explore after you've beaten the final boss in this game. Like, they've changed dialogue for a good number of characters, a good number of NPCs. They have certain people that are in different spots at the end of the game. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can walk anywhere in the game. You can teleport to any town you visited previously and still talk to everybody. Yep. It's good.
All right, so I'm gonna do another one of those exit mouse tricks I was talking about. And what this is gonna do is it's gonna save me from having to walk down and get the teleport location here. I hope I'm not making a mistake doing that, because it'll be pain to try to get back here without the teleport location. But I know that I did this in my route, I think.
You just gotta trust how you did it in the past.
Yeah. So I'm setting this as my exit mouse spot, and then I'm gonna exit mouse back here afterwards.
Oh, interesting. This dungeon counts as an exit mouse location?
Yeah, any cave.
Oh. I was thinking it was like only specific dungeons and stuff.
Wait, what? Why am I forgetting what I do here? He stole the device. Okay, go inside. I was like, wait. I have to do something else here. That's not the dialogue I was expecting. Okay. The rust is real.
Oh, you were thinking you'd already gotten the meteorite and everything?
I guess so. I don't know. All right, so I'm gonna go. Oh, actually, I think I can out of bounds from here to Threed. I think that's why I did it this way. And I can get the happy Threed photo because Belch is dead. So I actually don't have a timer going. What is the time at right now?
You have about 30 minutes left.
Okay, I think we can do it. It'll be close.
So you still have to go get the meteorite, and then go kill Gygus. But then you have
to fight Plague Rat. I still have to do the department store.
What does Plague Rat open up?
The photo outside the museum.
Oh yeah. Forgot about that one.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're trying to figure this out together, or at least I'm not the only one trying to figure out what to do next.
Yeah. I think I'll always remember how to get the photos. It's just a matter of like remembering the route is.
Oh, is this when you would normally get the 3'd photo?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I could probably out of bounds somewhere here, but I'm just gonna teleport back to 4 side. I already have the exit mouse.
I like how it's still happy, or it's happy 3'd, but the NPCs are still running into the tent as if it's the evil 3'd, because you never got close enough to do that.
Yeah. That's a good point. All right, so yeah, I'm gonna go do Plague Rat right now, and then I'll exit mouse. Oh no, I want to get. Sorry, I want to get the meteorite first and then come here. Whoopsies. I already got the photo in the house, which was, looking back now, a huge waste of time, but
it's still admirable how like pretty on track you are with your old run. I think to some of my old like games I've speedrun, and I'm like, I don't even know if I could like figure out what to do anymore.
I know, right?
Like the longest game I ever speedran was Breath of Fire. And I think back and it's like, I don't know if I could beat that anymore without at least significant practice.
Yeah, really.
Maybe if I had my notes with me, because I wrote extensive notes back then, but still, that would be a struggle, way more than you're struggling.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I feel like a glitchless run, I could jump in with no practice and do a non-manip glitchless run anytime, really, and still remember most of it. But when you're
I'm roughly the same way. Like glitchless, we've all done it so many times because that was like it's still kind of like the de facto category.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how long it's been since I last ran glitchless. I'll still be able to do it. It may be like a 4 hour and 20 minute 4:20 to 4:30, but
I forgot there was gonna be spawns here. Luckily, they didn't troll me. And I also somehow forgot I got the house photo, even though I was already talking about it.
What was it that finally turned spawns on? Oh yeah, it was Ness's Nightmare.
Yes, yeah, so that turns it all back on. All right, so now I have
so nice to be able to go through like an hour and a half of the run with spawns turned off completely.
Oh, it's great. I mean, it really, the most annoying parts before were, Mole Cave, Southern Scaraba, Magicant, so having them off for all that stuff is just delightful. I mean, really, you could do this whole run with pretty minimal manipulation, and it doesn't take that long. So let me just kind of think about. I still have plenty of bombs for Gygus. I have the Sea Pendant, the Franklin Badge, everything I need is on Paula. This boss shouldn't be hard at all. Although it is sort of on that damage range where it's not a guaranteed one-shot multi-bottle rocket, so I'll probably queue up a freeze.
I keep forgetting, like, you mentioned, I have to go kill Plague Rat, and it's like, oh yeah, you have to go through the sewers and do all that. Like, nope, we're in a completely different mode here.
Yeah.
Just walk over and kill him.
Yeah, it's nice. There was it wouldn't really help this category, but I forget who brought it up, but there's somebody like tasked a way to walk through the wall to the sewers in Fourside, but as far as I know, no one has figured out how to do it as a human.
Oh, with like a skip sandwich or something?
Yeah, it's like the same sort of thing as in Winters, and that would save a ton of time for no out of bounds.
Interesting. What would that get you? I guess you could essentially advance the story a little faster, because no, you would just get access to Pink Cloud.
Well, in No Out of Bounds,
I guess it would just make
all the sanctuaries, so you have to walk through the whole sewers.
Yeah, so that would save 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, it would be pretty big.
Interesting.
Yeah, glad I queued up that freeze. And
Plague Rat's health is like just over 2,000 or something.
I think it's 19 something, but
all of these bosses, like, I feel like I should know their health values
some of them I
after
remember.
running it so often, but
Yeah, I remember Starman's 1400 exactly. I remember Ness's Nightmare 1654, but I don't know, because in like a glitchless run, you're always going to one-shot Plaguerat. Oh, it's also very important you don't forget this melody, because the melody is what triggers the photo, not Plaguerat himself. So
Really
I could beat
interesting.
Plaguerat and then have to come all the way back if I forgot that.
You have a little under 25 minutes left, just so you know.
Okay, I think we can do it.
It's gonna be tight.
Really it depends on Gygas for sure. I'm not saying I'm going to do it, but I think it's possible. Yeah, that brought me back here.
Oh, and the exit mouse takes you back to Saturn Valley.
Yeah.
So good.
And again, I didn't need to get the teleport location because of that, so saved a little walking. Why am I doing that? The nice thing about this is no matter what, we're going to get through Gygas, I think, even if I have to reset and try again. So at least you'll get some sense of closure, even if the run gets mercy killed. We just won't get all the photos, sadly.
You said it is possible, though, right? If everything goes pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
Guy, out of curiosity, like, what would you say is like roughly the ratio of runners who come on here, of runs that end up getting mercy killed?
If I were to think of a ratio for every 2 runs that make it, 1 run doesn't make it. So the runners definitely have it in favor. They won season 1 by 10 runs over the timer.
Oh.
So, some of that also depends on, some folks like to do tighter estimates for drama reasons, so it depends on the personality of the runner, right? Like I tell folks, like if you're nervous to be on the show, you know, as long as it's not like in the middle of the run, add a few minutes onto the estimate before we start to ease nerves. But some folks just really want to go hardcore on the timer, and I respect that, so.
Like, I haven't run this in 3 years, but I got this.
3 years. One time we had someone who hadn't run something in about 10 years, to give you an idea.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. I mean, I don't think most people know Mitch Flower Power for Mega Man 3, but that happened here.
Nice.
I didn't know he ran anything other than SMB3.
I know. That was news to me, too. That's the fun of this show, though, you know? And, you know, I always talk about this. Some games, including games of this length, rust easier than others. So this, RPGs, Kaizo mods rust a little easier. It's just, it depends on the level of rust too, right? And the involvement in it. So that's why I always tell folks, like, feel free to have notes with you if it's as involved as this. And I don't know, how many notes do you have in front of you right now, James, if you don't mind me asking?
I just have the map on, I have my phone and I have the map on one tab and the list of photos on the other.
Wow, that's it? Because, oh my goodness, I see you go through some of these rooms and it is just ridiculous how much you still remember.
A lot of it'll still stick with you, I guess.
Yeah, just wandering through that darkness and looking for where you need to go is just, that is definitely something, that's a skill, and I'm surprised you remember as much as you do.
Yeah.
While we are winding down, which, by the way, folks, again, a little bit of a warning here on the flashing here. Sorry about that.
Yes, thank you again. I always forget these.
No, you're good. Could you all please talk about your channels and what you do? Even if you only stream like a certain amount of times per week or month, still, feel free to plug yourself. What are you doing right now? What do you used to do? What do you hope to do in the future? And do y'all plan on picking up this run again? And if so, maybe what categories?
I mentioned earlier that, in terms of Earthbound, I've taken long extended breaks, but like usually what'll bring me back is either a new discovery of something or a new glitch. And I mentioned that Octopus Cal has really optimized the Japanese version of this, so there's definitely a part of me that wants to come back and take his route from Mother 2, because I imagine that at some point he's going to get around to Earthbound and just demolish my time. So that would be something I'd like to do. But in the past, I've kind of always waited for someone to beat my time before I come back and put a lot of time into improving it. So we'll see if that happens. But Photo Percent is the one, like I said, the closest to my heart, and I always enjoy doing a grind for, a month or so on this. And in terms of my channel, I haven't been streaming really, but for some reason, I had this hankering to start learning Pac-Man, arcade Pac-Man. And
I saw
started
that the
learning
other day. I was
patterns of it.
surprised.
And I have like this thought of trying to get a perfect score on Pac-Man at some point, but it's proven a lot harder than I thought it would be. And it's extremely boring, so I actually don't suggest you watch my channel when I do that. But I've been doing mostly off-stream stuff, but occasionally it's just nice to have chat there with me. Because at a certain point, you just repeat the same pattern over and over and over again. And it gets a little bit tedious for sure. So let me just double check I got what I need here. He has a C Pendant Franklin badge. I might as well put that on Ness. So does he have all the life noodles? Yeah, I think we're good to try this.
Yeah, the big thing here you want for this fight is the C pendant gives you a flash resistance and cold resistance, and the Franklin badge gives you lightning resistance. So that basically means as soon as you get to the second phase of this fight, whoever is holding those two items essentially becomes invincible.
Yeah.
Outside of like ridiculously crazy luck. But for all intents and purposes, is if you can get to phase 2 and someone is holding on to both those items, you're going to win.
Well, the problem with phase 2 is I don't have a pendant on Ness, so he could technically get confused and attack Paula. So phase 3 is the real one. But yeah, we want the shield to get off here, and we want, I'm just gonna go ahead and life up Paula.
Yeah, the paralysis he's hoping to land is a 50% chance to land on Armor Pokey. If he can land the paralysis on Pokey and get the shield up, then he's pretty much safe for this round as well. As long as you keep the shield up, then you won't take any damage if Armor Pokey's paralyzed.
Yeah, paralyzed didn't work, and I got Rockin' Beta, so I might have to try again. But we're gonna see if we can, salvage this somehow.
Okay, one more content warning here again. There's gonna be a lot of flashing and a lot of shaking, so please look away for the duration of this fight because there's gonna be a lot of it.
Yeah, that's definitely the worst thing that could have happened here, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, getting Rockin' Beta, it's a 25% chance that Gygas leads the fight with the Rockin' Beta. He's always just going to pick one, but to start the fight, he's always going to be a 25% chance. So you're and a 50% chance to land a paralysis. So you're hoping for a 75% chance to get a Rocket Alpha, and then the 50-50 to get armor, forget the paralysis, which is not that unlikely, but sometimes it feels like it never happens.
Paralysis really doesn't even matter as much. It's just we need that Rockin' Alpha so we can get that shield off, because otherwise he'll keep doing Rockin'. And yeah, he did another beta after I revived Paul. I guess I could have kept trying, but since we can out of bounds to this, it's not as bad.
Yeah, if you're doing a glitchless run and you couldn't out of bounds to Gygas, it's like maybe like a 5-minute walk to get back there, depending on spawns, maybe 4 minutes.
So I actually remember, like, I used to do very little manipulation on this, and I had brought my time down to a level I was fairly happy with, but then when I was trying to beat it, I just kept getting Rockin' Beta, and, on a record attempt, that's pretty much run over, so that's when I started manipulating Gygas. Here, let's do a B menu here, get some different RNG. So when I do that, it actually advances the RNG by 1 every frame. So hopefully I'm on a very different R&B string here. R&B, I said R&B. RNG string here.
Yeah, music on the mind.
Yeah. So I think at this point it's going to be tough to get in. We're going to see where we are on the timer, but that was a bit unfortunate with the luck there.
Yeah, you got about 15 minutes left, and this fight on like a good, I would say a good fight for, well, the final phase of a Gygas takes about 7 minutes regardless.
Yeah.
So
it's about probably 10 minutes if it goes okay. And then the cleanup is roughly 5 minutes. So yeah, it's going to be close. All right, there's the alpha. That's the first part of it. If we can get the paralyze, I think we can get through it.
Yeah, and Rocket Alpha does a damage range of 40 to 120 to each person, and it's kind of like a bell curve-ish type thing, where it's more likely it'll do 80 than the ends.
I'll try Paralyze one more time, and then I'll just kind of give up on it. But I do have to keep track of how many turns we're at, because every 3 turns the shield disappears, so we need to make sure we're...
It's also really nice to land the paralysis on turn 1, because Armored Pokey is totally scripted in the actions that he does. He always does that defense down move on turn 1, and then he alternates between charging forward and an empty turn. And yeah, if you can land that on turn 1, it means you never have to see that attack.
Yeah. Nice 1 damage from Jeff there. I mean, that's what it's always going to be. All right, we'll do the shield here, and then...
If Jeff smashes, it might be a little more than 1, maybe.
I think it'll still be 1. But yeah, interestingly enough, Jeff, if he has a weapon equipped, can never do... Oh, I forgot there's no shield on Pooh. All right, thankfully. That was definitely a mistake on my part, reviving him with no shield up. But, okay, we're into phase 2, so Paula should be
tons
good.
of psychic points. You're in a pretty good spot.
Yeah.
The only thing that... The scariest thing for that... Yeah, the scariest thing at this point is people getting confused. Gygus has a flash attack move, which has a chance to confuse everyone.
Yeah, even if Paula dies, though, I have life noodles and a secret herb to get her back, so...
Where are those items sitting? Are they both on Ness?
On Ness, yeah.
So is your damage output for... Are you still have Sons of Super Bombs? Or do you rely pretty heavily on Shield and Rockin'?
I'm going to do Starstorm.
Oh,
and then I might use the Brain Food Lunch.
Oh yeah, because you learned Starstorm Omega just by entering the Cave of the Past.
I probably am just going to leave Food dead here. I don't know if it's worth it to revive him.
Yeah, as long as he gets off that first Starstorm, he only has enough to like 1 more freeze beta.
Yeah.
Unless you use like a Brain Food Lunch on him or something.
Yeah, I do have the Brain Food Lunch, but I don't think it's worth it to revive him at this point. Okay, so Ness didn't get confused there. That's good. Although he's going to have a harder time hitting with a bash, so I'll just do Rockin'.
The damage numbers we're looking for in this one is Armored Pokey has 2,000 HP from phase 1, and this is phase 2 of Gygus, also has 2,000 HP. And we're already through it, so now and
yeah, so
here, go ahead.
Bare minimum, we'll finish this fight. So at least we didn't get Mercy killed before the Gygus fight was even over. It's gonna be really close though. I'm guessing how that went. This will be roughly 11 minutes or so. So I don't think we're gonna get there, but it's gonna be close.
Yeah, you're gonna finish. That means you could finish like within like 20 seconds of the timer.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, this is... I'm seeing a 213 right now on my end.
Okay.
So this is gonna be close with a 225
Yeah.
estimate.
It depends. It's gonna depend a lot on this. So, you know,
Are you gonna bother lifing up Paula just in case?
I don't think so. 54.
He has enough HP.
54 is like 10 hits or so. I think that we can risk it. Maybe if she keeps getting solidified, I'll think about it. But I'm trying to come in right under that 225, so we gotta save every frame we can. Oh, interestingly enough, this prayer causes a big problem for manipulating phase 3 on photo percent. In any percent run,
prayer?
we don't. Yeah, in any percent, we don't fight Belch, so we don't get the random Saturns moving here. But when you fight Belch, for some reason, it puts random Mr. Saturns there, and they affect RNG depending on your mashing. So,
Interesting.
As far as I know, no one's ever manipulated phase 3 for photo percent. So I don't know how Octopus Cal handles that on Mother 2 if it's as big of an issue.
I remember routing any percent way back in the day and like doing the Gygus fight and discovering that on like prayer 6 there's random movement. I was like, oh my gosh, there's no way to solve this. I was like so dejected that I was gonna like the run wasn't gonna finish.
So are you the one that came up with kind of doing a, having a chart and just going from the chart?
Well, I was the first one to manipulate past like Ness's Nightmare.
Yeah.
So when I picked up any percent, we were still like fighting Ness's nightmare with like freezes and stuff with just Ness, Paula, and Jeff. But yeah, and I was the first one to manipulate Gygas. But yeah, when you discovered that, it was like, oh gosh, how are we gonna solve this?
It's really
I had
not
no
bad
idea
to
there was
just
potential
have-
random movement on that first prayer.
Yeah, but it's only, like I said, if you've fought Belch. So it's never been an issue for any percent. And it's interesting because it took me a long time to figure out why that didn't work. I figured something else was going on, and
What is it about fighting?
Because you might not have even seen them there, but sometimes you can see them, and there's just these additional Mr. Saturns that you don't see on an any percent run, and they're just moving randomly. So as long as you mash frame perfectly, you could get the same thing every time. But even with turbo, it's hard to get that consistent. So my solution to it was I had like a whole notebook of potential things, but I never got that far because it was never necessary for record. Because the big thing, the way you're gonna save time with it is if you skip picking up the C pendant. But I never got
Paula's
to
HP,
that
by the
point.
way, is getting low enough that I'm starting to get concerned.
I'm not concerned, but I'm glad that you're concerned, Andy.
She's taking 9 at a time. I guess that's still 4 hits, but
Yeah, not only would it have to do freeze every time, which is a 1 in 4, but it would have to solidify at least 2 of them. So that's like 1 in 4 times 1 in 4 times 1 in 4 times 1 in 4. Like,
as soon as you start describing the odds of it to happen, it's gonna happen.
yeah, it's definitely possible. I have died on phase 3 before, but it was never on a PB pace run, and it always kind of made me happy when it happened. Because it's so unlikely to happen, you know. I don't think it ever happens.
The classic one of like getting crazy odds is a Carpenter and him never hitting you with lightning.
Yeah.
I remember my record is 4. I don't know, but my record is 14. I think Hannibal might have had 16.
Jeez, it's crazy.
But yeah, for anyone wondering, it's a 1 in. So for the Carpenter fight, you're wearing a Franklin badge, and you're just to do the damage. You're basically hoping that Carpenter hits you with a lightning attack, so it reflects back and hit him. And yeah, it's a 1 in 4 chance. Well, it's X over 4, where X is the number of people in your party, and because it's just you, it's essentially a 1 in 4 chance for it to connect with you. And it missed 14 times, which actually isn't crazy low odds. I think it was just below 1%.
Yeah.
So it's actually surprising that it hasn't happened or hasn't been worse than that for anybody.
Yeah, so this is the prayer Andy was talking about. These NPCs move depending on when you mash the text.
And there's only one text box to mash. It's right there.
Yeah.
Depending on how long that little arrow is there waiting for you to advance the text, NPCs will move differently.
But the other really annoying thing that happened on any percent is what they called the clone prayer. So we would use the value of the damage that that you do to Gygas to tell you what RNG you're on. But there was 2 different values that gave the same damage. So a couple of world records were lost to that because you just died on the very last turn because you actually got the different value there. Is very annoying. I think that's another thing. We keep talking about Hannibal, but I think that's another thing he found, where he found a backup that would work for either value. But for a while, that was a run killer, and it was very sad when it happened.
But for anyone who might be familiar with the Earthbound speedruns, the timer does not actually stop on the final prayer of Gygas. This is, I believe, the only category that's like that.
Yeah.
Timer stops when you talk to Mom after the Gygas fight, because James still needs to get a couple photos.
Yep.
And I think, you need to get the one in the department store, so you technically need to kill or watch the Runaway 5 show and kill Spook.
Yes. Yeah.
And is there another one?
So I'm going to get the one in Grapefruit Falls. I'm just going to walk over there. Teleport to Foreside. I need to get the diamond. The reason I waited to do that is because that turns spawns back on. So that's why I waited so long to do it.
It's going to be tight. You're down to about 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I'm glad I did 225. I remember when Airfram first came to me with the idea to do this. that you guys were potentially interested in our community. He mentioned 3 hours, and there's not really a good category for 3 hours for Earthbound in terms of like, you know, unless you're on world record pace. So I thought 3 hours would be just not fun at all, because even if I made a lot of mistakes in this and it's still going to be right around that 225. So 3 hours wouldn't have really given any suspense at all.
How long, because the Runaway 5 show, how long does the Runaway 5 show take? Is that like 2 minutes?
I think it's a minute and a half. I think the Venus
I guess it's the
show
first
is
Runaway
2
5 show. The
hours.
Venus show is
Yeah.
super long, but the first Runaway 5 show is pretty quick.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is
I'm
gonna be
excited
tight.
about this. Yeah.
I think you're gonna be like walking to mom's house when the timer
Could be,
ends.
yeah. Could be.
You're gonna be like 30 seconds away from timer ending.
I knew that was going to happen. That's why I specifically did this, just for the suspense. That's why I died once to Gygas.
That death to Gygas probably cost you what, like 3 minutes, maybe 2
Yeah,
minutes?
probably. I probably should have just reset instantly to the beta, but I just was worried about getting in a loop of, you know, beta, and then just be there all day. But yeah, we got a lot of walking to do here. Also, I do have the Magicant bat, thankfully. So I should be able to get through the spook fight no matter what happens. But if he really decides to troll me, it could that could be the end of the run right there. We could.
Do you have like do you have like super bombs or an MBR dedicated
I have
for
a
spook?
Dragonite still, and the
Okay.
Magicant bat. So the Dragonite has a chance to one-shot him, and if not, I can either just do Rockin' or Bash. Bash is a little faster.
3 minutes.
Though. 3 minutes. Okay, yeah, I don't think we're gonna do it.
No, don't
But
say
we'll
that,
try.
James.
We'll try.
I think you will have collected all the photos.
That's
By
true.
that, maybe.
Yeah.
I guess you still have like another 30 seconds until you're movable.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot of walking to do because, like I said, I have to go get the diamond. Would have been closer without that Gygas reset. That's the whole point of Mercy Kill, right? We gotta leave it suspenseful.
Hey, I appreciate the tight estimate. I really do.
But the thing is, like, at this point in the run, there's no more, like, I guess you still have to fight Spook, but really
Yeah.
nothing is gonna, there's nothing to end the run or anything. It's just a matter of finishing.
Yeah, I like.
But
it's
regardless,
just-
even like worst case Spook, you would still beat him. So you're looking at like a variation of maybe like a minute or two at absolute worst case.
yeah, that would probably be pushing it even. But the real question is, I just can't remember how long Runaway 5 takes. If it's only a minute, maybe. But I think
Gosh, this
this is just taking
sequence
forever.
before you're movable is
Yeah.
way longer than I thinking, because I never usually, like, when you finish a run, this is like the time when you're just like not even paying attention to the game anymore.
Yeah.
You're just glad the run's over.
Yeah, and they all have to talk to me here, and yeah, this isn't looking good, guys. I'm sorry. I think we can get one more photo at least, though.
Yeah, you'll get the Grapefruit Falls, so you'll be one photo short.
Yeah.
You may have to come back for Revenge Arc at some point. That's what ADF did. If this is going to be that close, we do have a Revenge Arc series that we
nice.
started. So
Yeah, I feel like with a little bit of practice, I could have beaten this by
No
quite
practice.
a bit. But then again, I decided not to manipulate Gygas, and that was really kind of the big determining factor. But I made like at least 15 minutes of silly mistakes, so just
It is
from the
crazy how
rust.
much dialogue there is here.
Yeah.
I've played this game hundreds of times, and I'm like shocked at how much there is.
Yeah, because I since I don't have splits up right now, I really had no.
yeah, 30 seconds.
Oh, geez. And I got the long text from Paula because I wasn't paying attention.
Go get the
Can we get
photo.
one more photo?
Hurry.
Can we do it? Can we do it? I don't think so.
Yeah, it's
Five,
just
4, 3, 2,
no.
1. Nope. That's it.
Oh, man. All right. We tried our best. We tried.
That was a heck of a run still.
Yeah, you were maybe, like 3 to 4 minutes from being done?
I honestly have no idea at this point. That I can't believe how long that took after Gygas. Like, I was thinking maybe a minute or two. It was like 6 minutes. So I don't think I have a great grasp of how long it takes. But yeah, I think probably roughly like 4 minutes from here, maybe.
Wow. So yeah, I'll have to definitely keep you in mind, especially if you enjoyed yourself, James.
Oh,
and again,
yeah, it was awesome.
Andy, I very much enjoyed your commentary too. Thank you so much for being here. Do you all have any last minute shout outs or anything you'd like to say about the run? And would you recommend this experience to other runners who may be rusty at their speed games?
I always recommend Earthbound. People ask us a lot, what's a good category to jump in? I probably wouldn't recommend this category because there's a lot of, walking around aimlessly through out of bounds and stuff, and it takes a little bit to get used to that. But we always suggest either starting with a glitchless run if you got some time, or the boogie percent run, which is pretty much the first quarter of a glitchless run, and we use that a lot for races and things like that. So if you have enjoyed this game casually, you might be surprised how much you actually like doing the speed runs. So definitely drop by the Earthbound Discord and give it a look, and I highly recommend it to anybody. And I would love to see people run this category. If anyone's watching and has been inspired, you definitely have a potential record for the taking for Earthbound right now, because like I said, no one's run it in a long time. So
yeah, and I want to step in and say, like, I totally agree with everything that James has said. But they're at the same time, there's a very special kind of person that gets drawn to routing speedruns. And this category is one that will never die because there will always be room for optimization just because of the nature of how it works. There will always be small time saves that can be identified and changing the order of things. So if routing is your thing, this category will be alive for you forever.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to see what someone else could come up with and, put my old route to shame.
I have one last question for you. Would you recommend the Mercy Kill experience to other runners who may be rusty at their games?
I would, because I don't feel a drastic amount of shame right now. I still feel like I did okay. And, that's probably the big thing is if you're worried about feeling guilty if you get your run mercy killed. I'm not feeling that at all.
No, out of curiosity, about how much time did you put into preparing for this, James? I know it was very, very minimal, but just to get an idea.
I spent about 30 minutes before the stream doing the barricade skip practice.
Oh, and that's it?
All.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, so I'm happy I got that at least. I got all the manipulated stuff, so that was actually not the problem at all. It was just forgetting all the little minutia of the rest of the run.
I want to give one last shout out on behalf of the Earthbound community, and that is to Airframe for reaching out to me and putting things together. Thank you so much for your organization and for reaching out. And of course, again, to Classic James and Andy Perfect. So before we conclude here, please be sure to give both of them a follow. That is twitch.tv/ClassicJames, twitch.tv/Andy Perfect. And please be sure to give both of their Twitch accounts a follow. So thank you both again for all of your time. And thank you for this wonderful run. It was great.
Oh, thank you for everything. I'm so happy you had us.
Absolutely. So a few announcements here before we close Mercy Kill. Remember, our programming isn't done here on GDQ Hotfix yet. So please stay tuned after this run. There is more. Tomorrow, I'm going to be back again. Y'all can't get rid of me that easily this week. I am going to be, for the first ever time, co-hosting the first step. I am playing the role of J-Hobbs tomorrow, except I'm going to be with Kizaran, and Kizaran and myself are going to be doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Forbidden Memories Randomizer. So we're going to start that at 7 p.m. Eastern, immediately followed by Victory Lap. So that's tomorrow, the first step, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on GDQ Hotfix. The Victory Lap is right after. However, we are not done tonight here with our programming. Coming up next is Never Before Seen. Take it away, Amber.